Good afternoon. Wow, I sounded like such a like a television presenter or like a YouTuber. I don't know. I guess I kind of am a YouTuber. Let's read part 3. I just burned out on this amendment. What, Saturday was released? And so it took me a while, and then we had the trial yesterday, or the hearing yesterday. So it took me a while to get back to this. Um But here we are, and we're going to get to it. Let me share my screen. There we go. All right. So, as I'm situating my windows here, we left off. Oh, that's a good question. Where did we leave off? Wow. Okay, we read that part. And I'm sorry as I'm getting through this. Um, did we read this part? Yeah. I think these parts were I was skimming through. And then the calendar. Then the SAG-AFTRA, and then the email. Okay. Just bear with me for a second as I'm picking up where I left off. Or figuring out what that is. This just reminds me. Okay, this is January 4th. This just reminds me of how, like, everything changed in her tone of voice and the way that she was communicating. And it was just so apparent, so striking. I'm going to go. It was, I think, maybe page, like these pages. Okay, hold on. I think this is kind of where it was. And I'm sorry if there is a little cross reference. Okay, so January 5th, 2024, from January 5th to February 9th, as adulty, as Lively admits, filming concluded without any further grievances from Lively or references to previous disputes. The parties agreed to implement and follow the protection for return to production to ensure, that the film could be completed, marketed, and released safely and successfully. And it was. Production of the film resumed January 5th and concluded on February 9th, 2024. The film has been a resounding success. On February 22nd, Baldoni starts his first day back in the edit bay with his two editors. February 24th, Heath and Baldoni are informed of Lively's request made through the A-list producer to join Baldoni in the editing bay. She also expressed that she had limited time before leaving to shoot her next film in April. If she could be involved in the edit with Baldoni, she could not promise to promote the film. In doing so, Lively knowingly infringed on Baldoni's DGA protected editing time. Baldoni on February 25th, 2024. Baldoni sends a group text to Lively and the A-list producer to inform her that he still needs a couple of weeks to get the film into a presentable shape. He proposes having Lively join the editing process during the week of March 18th. Oh, I did read this. I'm so sorry. Um, did we get to the I don't remember this part, or maybe I guess I just put it out of my mind. I know, yeah, this is it's so crazy. Oh my gosh, why is it so blurry? Um okay, March, I think we got to the Book Bonanza part, right? Which we saw the video for. So in group text involving an A-list producer, Sony executive Baldoni and Heath, the team discusses the possibility of sending Baldoni's editor to New York, which we've read in the previous lawsuit, especially. So I'm not going to even try to read these blurry ones because there are less blurry versions in the lawsuit itself. Lively and the editor on April 22nd to May 1st. They work on her cut of the film at Wayfair and Sony's expense. In the meantime, Baldoni continues cutting his version of the film, all the while believing that he will have the opportunity to consider incorporating Lively's edit at a later date. On April 23rd, Jamie Heath learns that Lively asked Sony to bring other creative collaborators into the cutting room with her. In response, a Sony executive relayed a firm message to Lively stating, "This is a Wayfair movie." Sorry. I will keep going with that. Oh, we did cover this part. Um, yeah. Heath and Wayfair, eager to get the film back from Lively on April 29th, asked the A-list producer to make it clear to Lively's agent that Wednesday, May 1st would be her last day in the edit. April 30th, still unsatisfied, Lively demands another extension of her timeline in the cutting room, pushing the deadline from May 1st to May 8th. Adding to the audacity, Lively insists that Sony and Wayfair hire her personal editor, someone she had worked with previously, most notably on projects with Reynolds. Faced with the escalating situation, Wayfair considers granting the extension but attaches a significant condition. And this was Wayfair considers granting the condition. Lively would need to sign her long overdue acting agreement. This document, which had been left unsigned for over a year. So this is April 3rd, 2024. I might have said this in the previous one. Like I said, bear with me. But I feel like this needs to be so stressed because this point needs to be so stressed, so focused on. This is a contract. This is like her contract to work on this movie that she hasn't signed. They started she signed on December 31st, 2022. They had principal photography day 1 on, was it April or May 1st or so, 2023. She had been working prior to that as well on other things like rewriting the rooftop scene and wardrobe changing and all the stuff. She had not signed her contract a year after principal photography had started, and the movie was completely done at this point. This I will talk more about this in my little tidbits. I don't know what I want to call my 8 o'clock lives, but I want to talk about this. And tomorrow I'll have a video or live on the impact of this case really on just not just the movie industry, but the world as well, because this is just it's in pretty impressive what I'm seeing. We're all like scavenging the internet for evidence, all this stuff. But this, it reminds me of like we have on one hand, Diddy is kind of like the music industry, and now this is kind of like the movie industry. It's not so much actors, but it's like behind the scenes part of the movie industry that I don't know have gone not unregulated, but maybe just forced from these powerful entities, powerful celebrities that just kind of want to bend the rules or whatever. This is just it is kind of insane. Maybe I'm coming again from more corporate in the recent years than the creative side of things, but you cannot just like I can't imagine just not signing my was it W-4 and I-9 and employee contract and all of those, not signing those and just working for my whole term of whatever the contract was, and increasingly asking for more authority on making decisions. Like when we sit with like the whole context now that this is all over, at that time probably it wasn't looking quite the same as it is looking now, where she got her own cut to be televised or whatever, screened at Book Bonanza, and she claims that she basically stole it and hid it and, you know, showed it against Sony's um, request or whatever. That could be iffy. Maybe she was just saying that, but yeah, it's just so bad. Like I wonder if slash when SAG, DGA, is it DGA? All of these unions will come into picture and say, hold up, this is a violation of our rules. This is a violation of our laws. You can't do this. When are they going to come into the picture? I wonder if they will come into the picture after all of this is settled. That's my guess, not really knowing too much, but that's like my guess at this time. They're just watching, hearing, is this going to be proven? Is this real? Is this a fact? And if it turns out that these indeed are facts that they wrote during the writing strike, that, you know, someone wrote that wasn't part of the movie, that, you know, she, which makes me feel like that's probably why she said it was hers it during production and then let it slip to the interviewer that it was really Ryan that rewrote it. And maybe they kind of wrote it together. But I think because, well, the movie's over, so what are they going to do? You know? Um, but yeah, I think that um, all of these unions are kind of waiting to see these things proven, and then they will take action if it's proven that they need to take action. So I think that's also why, again, complete guess, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are fighting like tooth and nail. They're not giving up because it's one thing to talk about SH allegations and she didn't go to the union, and that's not great. But then all of these other violations against multiple unions, that is even worse. And she could be kicked out and not be able to be hired on union productions, which is what they do. You know, if you're not working on union productions, you're doing, I think you can do, no, I don't think you can even do commercials. You can do like student films or, you know, non-union films, which is not Hollywood. So there is a lot writing on this. Oh crap, hold on. I don't think, did I think I am not even using my mic. So might as well just not. Okay. I forgot to sign up with it. Okay. All right. Now we're good. Okay. So, uh all right. Getting back to reading this. Finally, let's just get okay. So, hi, Blank. This is Jamie Heath to Lively's Reps. Good speaking with you earlier. Wanted to quickly recap what we spoke about. Wayfair originally agreed to have Blake work with Blank Editor on the movie in order to express her editorial creative vision on the dates 42251. We have since learned of her request to continue working with her own editor on 52 to 58. We are prepared to extend that period of time with the understanding that prior to any continued work, we will receive her signed contract of the movie. But they have zero leverage on this because she already has all the dailies, all the files. She has the editor. She's been working on her cut. They have zero leverage. Please let us know that we agree and execute the long form agreement, and we will have post production set things up for the edit to proceed. Unless literally they can lock her out of the editing bay, they have zero leverage, right? Okay. Heath is informed on April 30th that Lively had told Sony Marketing that she would refuse to approve trailers, TV spots, and digital marketing assets if Baldoni's acting credit appeared alongside of her. So she didn't even, she's like, I don't care. I'm just completely ignoring what you're saying. I'm sorry. I'm feeling just shocked. Like we know how bad it gets, but I'm still living as I'm reading. I'm living through the timeline. Okay, so Sony Marketing, citing Lively's contractual approval rights over her image and likeness in promotional materials, warns Heath that she could effectively block the release of almost every piece of promotional content featuring her face or name, essentially all of it. So she's like, "Oh, you want me to sign the contract? Well, I'll raise you a you can't use my name or face anywhere in the promotion." Faced with this leverage, Maldoni and Wayfair reluctantly agreed to remove his name from that before or above title credit in trailers and related marketing cut downs. This concession is yet another clear example of Lively's ongoing effort to diminish, really just like make him invisible. Baldoni's presence and influence on the project. There is no creative or professional justification for his name to be excluded. It is purely a result of her demands. The situation escalates further when, on June 18th, 2024, Sony requests that Baldoni's film by credit be removed from the film's poster, a move that reinforces Lively's wholesale erasure, erasure of his contributions. As a request of this nature would have no meaning to Sony, it is clearly instigated by Lively. So, do the posters, hold on, just a side quest over here. Um, it ends with us poster. Do the poster do they just not have anything? Let's see. I'm gonna share my other screen in a second. I wish you could just switch between. So it's we break the pattern or the pattern breaks us. Wait, is this the actual poster? It doesn't even have his name in this. Is this for real? Hold on. I can only find this honestly. This is all I could find. I This is all I could find. It just has her name. Like, not even the other actors, which, yeah, you don't have to include them. They're not completely no names, but you usually include them, or you just don't even include hers. But that's like literally just her. And the tagline, and then it ends with us, based on the global best-selling phenomenon by Colleen Hoover, screenplay by Christy Hall, lightly probably at this point, directed by Justin Baldoni, exclusively in movie theaters, Wayfair, and stuff. Um, I guess this is it because IMDb too. I didn't even notice this. I didn't even look at this. This is so disgusting. And it's I'm using a strong word, but to me, with everything else, again, like nothing warrants her taking over this project in this specific way. If she wanted to take this project over for whatever reason she wanted to, for the fame, for the credit, for advancing her career, for because she endured SH, etc., etc., just just cut him out, just like fire him because she can. And then have your like directed by Blake Lively thing, you know? Wow, this is so crazy. So we have Columbia Pictures and Wayfair Studios present a Wayfair and Saks Picture Company production. Oh, Saks has his own picture company too. A film by Justin Baldoni. Whoop, where did you go? It ends with us, Justin Baldoni, Jenny Slate, Hassan Minaj, and Brandon Sklenar. um, Casting by Christy Carlson, CSA, etc., etc., etc. Music by Rob Simonson and Duncan Blickenstaff. Costume designer, loosely, by Eric Damon. Film editors, Una Flaherty and Rob Sullivan. I wonder how many of these people. Wait, why is she over there? I wonder how many of these people after she came, directed by him, produced by Alex Sachs, Jamie Heath, and Christy Hall. She didn't get her producer credit. Screenplay by Christy Hall, based on the book by Colleen. Executive producers Steve Sarowitz, Todd Black, Andrew Kaloff, Andrea Jimian. That sounded so Korean, the way that I pronounced that for some reason. John Logan Pearson and Blake Lively and Colleen Hoover. Um, my what I remember reading, the executive producer was sort of given to her anyways, and Justin also was an executive producer technically, from my memory, but that she wanted the producer credit, like producer. I don't know, people sometimes Candace Owens or someone was the executive producer and as a big deal, and it's like, no, we've kind of ran over that. That's not the, the really big producer, big deal kind of thing. Anyways, okay. May 2nd, 2024. While Lively is holding the film hostage in the edit room, she is simultaneously stalling the film's marketing by refusing to approve key materials, including the trailer release. With less than 3 months until the film's premiere, Sony becomes increasingly alarmed about the delayed rollout of the trailer, a cornerstone of the promotional campaign. In a text exchange between Heath, a Sony film executive, and a Sony marketing executive who had just spoken with Lively, excuse me, they inform Heath of Lively's still escalating demands. Lively will not approve the trailer unless she is granted more time in the edit room with her personal editor. Again, okay. I guess maybe they can edit, lock her out. Adding to the pressure, Lively made a veiled threat implying she might change her mind about reaching out to Taylor Swift to secure the use of My Tears Ricochet for the trailer if her demands were not met. I don't really think they care that much about that one. but that's just maybe me. Maybe at this point, I think they're like, we don't want to mess with anyone that's a big name anymore. Like, but that's just going would be me, like, well, take your Taylor Swift. We don't need her. We don't want to like add another layer of that. Like, why are you threatening with that? I think to them the contract was more important, and really everything else. Like, when Heath stands firm and refuses to acquiesce, the Sony marketing executive delivers a sharp and pointed warning. You don't want to play ball. You are going to delay and greatly hurt the movie. Good luck. This stark response signals that Sony too was beginning to apply pressure on Wayfair, effectively strong arming them into compliance. Because probably at this point, Sony was like, whatever. We just need this movie to get released. We don't care because they don't care. They're the distributing company. They're doing like they want this movie out of their system. Like we have other movies to come. We don't need this movie to take this long. We don't need to put that much money into all of this fighting inside. Like we don't care. We'll go with Blake. We'll go with Blake. Like they probably did not care. It's not their production. It's not, they're just yeah. Um, the message makes it clear that the studio is growing increasingly frustrated with the situation and is prepared to hold Wayfair accountable for any negative fallout, adding yet another layer of tension to an already fraught dynamic. Because Wayfair, it's kind of like, when you're owning the company, whether your employees are, at fault or not, you as the owner or, the board of owners in this case, you are the ones that are accountable to something like Sony. So Sony executive, Jamie, I have Blank on here too. Blank has gotten Blake to approve the trailer we want with our narration, the chair kick, the bruise, etc. And Blake is calling Taylor to approve the song. She, of course, just reached out saying she's asking for time with Blank, her editor. We know it was conditional on signing contract, but asking if you will reconsider so Blank can release this trailer and Blake does not change her mind, recalling Swift. Blank, I'm available to talk on the phone. Call me if you're free. And the executive, you guys don't want to play ball. You're going to delay and greatly hurt the movie. Good luck. That is only if you want to make this date. We are going to need to push, finish director cut, and we can have multiple previews down the road. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Sony's like the bottom line. This is all we care about right now, and also, I mean, yeah, just just cut your losses, just move forward. It's kind of really hard to do that, but May 3rd, 2024, faced with Lively's escalating threats ranging from potentially delaying the film's release to outright refusing to promote it, Wayfair once again reluctantly conceded to her demands, allowing her to continue editing with her personal editor. Further, they withdrew their reasonable request for Lively to sign her long overdue contract, opting instead to focus on maintaining forward a momentum. Why didn't she sign her contract? Why didn't she sign her contract? Someone let me know. If you're in the movie industry or anything, let me know. I am so confused why she's refusing to sign this contract. What is in that contract that could change her like control and power that she already has? She's already doing this. And I don't think having that contract signed or not would make a difference, especially not at this point, right? Or is it because like once she signed the contract, they can say, well, we can't use your cut because you just already signed as the actress and not the director and producer and all of it. Like but I doubt that. Like she's already found a way to like do what she wanted to do, and the it's only hurting legally. I feel like it's only hurting her, right? Um, yeah, signing the contract proves that she's just an actress, but she could also She I think by this point, already right? She already forced them to give her a PGA credit and a producer credit, um, or a PGA mark or whatever. So, mm, does this mean that she never signed the contract? But also, how could you not sign the contract? It's just to me, even though like I am, I've dabbled into the film stuff, into the creative world, and I am not really into the corporate world, into the rules and all that. But like at some point, I get confused. Um, like legally, how is she allowed to not sign that contract? Even if she pressures them with whatever, with the SH stuff or whatever, to change that contract to add her as like all these other things, wouldn't that be like a better way to go about it from her standpoint rather than not sign it at all? Like, isn't that illegal or under SAG, like, wrong to do that? I don't know. Couldn't she face consequences, basically? I guess my question is for her not signing the contract. Oh, yeah, Justin, yeah, they should have never moved with no contract signed. Absolutely. Yeah, of course. I can't believe that they did that. But I think that shows again, I'll talk about this more, I think either tonight's live or or tomorrow's video, like the impact this case has, because it's not just about, two people and about SH allegations and two people in Hollywood privilege, blah blah blah. It's like all of these things where rules are being bent because of the power and privilege that very few have, which I mean is happening everywhere. But yeah, there's no law against not signing a contract. Interesting. Because I would think that's what contracts are. Makes me want to study even more about this. That's so interesting. Hmm. Wow. Well, there probably will be now. That might change after this. Okay. So she's not refusing to sign the contract. They withdrew because she's refusing to promote it. um Opting instead to focus on maintaining forward momentum. Okay, Wayfair's only request was that Lively provide updates, and thank you so much, thank you for answering my questions. Wayfair's only request was that Lively provide updates by the end of the day on May 8th 2024, allowing the director sufficient time to review and incorporate her edits into his cut. I feel like it's not his cutting, like, that's just gone, at this point, how is he even thinking that he'll get his cut? Despite the mounting tension, Baldoni, Wayfair, and Sony held on to the belief that Lively's contributions would ultimately be integrated into, sorry, they read my mind, into Baldoni's vision for the film, preserving the integrity of the final product. And this is an incredibly blurry version of the emails. I think I did go through this and said, I don't know that I can read this, but yeah, hi, hope you are well. I'm writing to request. First, we considered finding some time to have a call to discuss the It Ends With Us contract. If you are able to do it, this is from Jamie Heath to someone. Guys, I can help facilitate this call to do anything, let me know. I'm in New York. Thanks, blank. Sent from iPhone. And then Jamie to Lively Reps manager and attorney in light of the conversations that we have. Okay, so this is just kind of saying what they basically said. Like, okay, well, I wanted to align on where things are now. For future resolution of the contract, we will stand by in hopes that we come to a conclusion soon. And you're saying that they probably just like the director's cut, it went into the ether, this contract. Just it's like, all right. May 6th, 2024, Baldoni and Colleen host a trailer launch event. We went through this. It's interesting that they didn't show how she was literally like around his arm in this one. But yeah, they're whatever, just doing their thing. Um is that Isabella over there? I don't know who else is on that panel. May 10th, 2024, on the final day on which she is approved to edit the film, Lively refuses to turn over her cut to the film's director and instead tells Sony that she wants to do a friends and family screening of her cut to gather feedback and continue working on her edit. This was, of course, at Wayfair's and Sony's expense and not accounted for in the budget. If she's an executive producer, I don't understand. Maybe I misunderstand that too. So let me know if you know this, and if you can help me with this. But as an executive producer, aren't you able to add to the funding of this movie? Maybe not required to, but or like find ways, find people, production, whatever, find contributors, financial contributors to the movie. That was my understanding of executive production producers. um May 10th, on the final day on which she's approved to edit the film, Lively refuses to turn over her cut to the film's director and instead tells Sony that she wants to do the screening. Sorry. Wow. Okay. I just reread that, I think, 3 times at this point, because I remember suddenly, yeah, we did go through all of this, previously. They did, like, the screening tests, and then they, I think, did another screening test. Um, she did not share any audience feedback with Baldoni or the studios because she had 0 intention at this point to combine her cut with his. Like, she had completely taken over, and it is sad that they thought she hadn't at this point after all that we've learned and read. Um, May 20th, Wayfair is informed through Sony and Lively, emboldened by the feedback she received from her friends and family screening, demanded an official audience test screening. And then we went through this. I'm sorry once again that I'm like repeating things. Oh, she's like, think she closed her own cage. And then June 2nd, once again, Wayfair found itself with no choice but to allow Lively to continue her edit, effectively sidelining to sharing notes with Lively and her editor without any assurance that those notes would even be considered. In a careful attempt to navigate the situation, Heath compiled, just like they did with the marketing, they put in their notes and that was it. She literally closed her own cage. I'm sorry. For those who are joining or watching this in replay, I have a parakeet, and literally she was just out with me when I sat down. And suddenly I see that she's like, I want out. And I'm like, you are out. But she closed her own cage door. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay. Take a look. And this is her for anyone who has not seen her, which I don't think anyone's new here, probably. Okay, so notes from the editor team to Blake Lively to consider. As we discussed, the team has gone through Blake's edit, and I have the following notes for Blake's editor and Blake to consider. And this is from Jamie Heath, the producer, one of the producers. We'd like this to be presented to them in the script, of wanting to, in the spirit of wanting to share notes. So we don't have the notes. It's just like this was probably an attachment, or like he put it underneath. Please let me know you receive them, and when that happens. They may choose to not respond to them, but at least you can assure us that they will be delivered. We can hope that some of them will be considered. Oh my gosh, this is like hurts. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Um, this is like really hurtful. And to think, if she didn't if she didn't file her complaint, she didn't want to file the complaint, she just kind of dropped it all. To think this would have just stayed here, unless they were, behind the scenes, like just letting this happen and then waiting and building a case to file against her. But I don't think they were. I think they were just so lost. And like you said, Dr. A, like it would just be taken as like lessons learned next time. We know what not to do. um, so yeah, she really like just made her bed. This is so crazy. June 3rd, Baldoni's informed that Lively would be attending Book Bonanza with Hoover instead of Baldoni. Jennifer Abel, Baldoni's publicist at Jones Work at that time. Jones Works at that time. I don't know why I don't like that word. I think maybe it just sounds so archaic, so old school. I don't even know why I'm saying old school. It doesn't sound like a cool company, not because of this at all, just like plainly for that word. And Baldoni shared a text exchange disheartened at how things have unfolded. Hi, Jamie just filled me in about BookCon. This is Jen. I know this is devastating and such a kick in the gut. It's petty and childish at this point. I'm just making sure you're okay. We will get through this. Excuse me, eye on the prize. Her attending BookCon is a win for the film ultimately. And if she wants to drag her butt to Texas, then let her. You can be home with your family, which is important. Which is not what I mean. Yes, that was important, especially after this. He was probably like, yeah, probably just want that. But I think Book Bonanza was probably one of the most important things in his mind, besides, helping people, survivors, et cetera, et cetera. So she's saying that, but I think it wasn't really a consolation prize. Not to say that his family is a consolation prize, but like when you're so passionate about something that is meant to help so many people and you want to connect to those exact people that have connected to your project. And I think he's even kind of involved, or like at least listen to, kind of like they're listening to us right now. Um, as far as like their evidence and things. Yeah, it's hard. She's kicked me out officially from the film, Justin says. Now she's finishing it all. I can't be involved. Music, sound, um, video, gosh, VFX. Shoot, why am I having such a hard time really like saying that? Anyways, everything. I'll make it through somehow. Just need to feel it all. So healthy too. Yeah, feel it, you know? Um, this has exposed a dark underside of Hollywood. Yeah, yeah. As I'm reading this, honestly, as I'm reading this, in my mind, I constantly think this is not the only project this has happened on. Absolutely not. But this is the one that we're seeing publicly, and wow, like this director, actor, kind of unknown person, not really not really seen as like a very powerful figure, definitely not, an A-list celebrity that has so much power in the public and so forth, is like unveiling all of this. And even if it costs him everything, I think it will definitely change Hollywood for the better, hopefully. It depends on how the lawsuit goes and how much of the discussions go. I mean, we said that with like the pandemic, work from home, and then everything was like, nope, gotta go back to old ways, even though this is better, we gotta go back. We don't want more efficiency. We don't want people to like have better results. We just want them in the office. So like society as a whole is like you take, a few steps forward, and then this is definitely exposing a lot, which some cynical people, it might sound like, well, this is, corrupt Hollywood and blah 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 blah. I don't think it always happens. Um But and I think that's like the threshold between, oh, there's something to be done about this because it doesn't always happen. And we can prevent, this from happening, just like the Me Too movement helped with intimacy coordinating and all the stuff that came out of it. And, it turned into something better, not perfect, apparently. This will have its own, hopefully, its own change to it. That's just, I guess, my hope. I don't know. Okay. June 5th, Baldoni's editors informed Baldoni that they heard from a secret source that Lively was incorporating a bunch of Baldoni's version back into the film ahead of the second official audience test screening of Lively's cut, which, and I'm not going to read these because they are in the official lawsuit complaint that he filed. And are halfway through, literally halfway. So, and I think I went through this again. The change wasn't that much greater. I mean, he had a pretty darn good score at 94%. It was like above the target by just 1%, but still 94%. She never got to that, as far as like the total. She did better, ironically, with her first cut. Um, I don't know. It's like gosh, I hate this. I'm not looking for to this again, but yeah, like it wasn't that much different. I don't know. We're all so curious. We're all so curious. I think we have to wait for the director's cut. We have to wait if it'll even be allowed to happen after the lawsuit finishes. But we're all curious about that. Like, what is the difference? Is it a big enough difference? Is it important? Would it be much better? Would it be just different? Would it be worse? Because screening isn't everything. That's just a handful of people. June 6th, Baldoni is hospitalized for 3 days due to a spine infection. And this is with his editors. June 12th, Wayfair is informed that Blake Lively told Sony that she'll be showing audiences at Book Bonanza her cut of the film, regardless of Sony or Wayfair's approval. And I remember this is kind of where, like the video, it's just like, what? Man, I was so all over the place. Sorry, I'm repeating all of this. Um, but yeah, she basically said they didn't have an option to say no. I brought the movie with her on the airplane. A video of this comment is available. Okay.
Students with ADHD say
So quickly again, because this, I mean, is just, kind of crazy. Oops. Minute 48. Was it 48?
Things put together like a little piece of the movie. Like at Comic-Con, they do that. This is like Comic-Con, but like for women. I've coined it Coho-Macon.
What is this?
Oh shoot, I forgot to tell you. We have a clip from the movie.
You're showing them? You haven't even showed me.
No, I mean, like, I don't know. We thought like normally like Comic-Con they do like 3 minutes, so we could put together like 20 minutes to show. And I was like, oh, they'll never know. Like you do like temporary score until like the movie's complete. And I was like, oh, put Finding Nemo like as like a wink Easter egg. Nobody will know what it is. The first person raised their hand. I'm like, why do you have the Finding Nemo score in this movie? It's like, how on earth are you guys that keen? So yeah, it's not, the movie's not done yet. I mean, it comes out in 2 months, but it's not done.
So what you're saying is like
this. Sorry, we need to. I'll stop watching this now. I'll just watch. I'll watch and comment on this tonight on my live because I feel like I need to watch all of that because it's probably just ridiculous all over. What the heck? Finding Nemo score? That's the one that she thought, oh yeah, I'll just like put this temporarily in there. That sounds like a score to put. Where also they already had a score that she just didn't like. So she could have just left that one temporarily. Anyways, June 14th. Oh gosh. Lively, Colleen Hoover, Brandon Sklenar, and Isabella Ferrer attend Book Bonanza to promote the film's release. Wayfarer was only made aware that Brandon and Isabella would be attendance, and she paid for their travels and basically told them last minute, "You're coming," or maybe not that last minute. June 14th, Baldoni shares with his editors that Lively's cut of the film would be shown on the second day of Book Bonanza. Then there's the jeans that she loved and she talked about, and then the jeans that, I think, was it them two? Blake and Isabella made for Brandon, blah, 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 blah. Uh, Editor conversation that we read. But yeah, basically, they're just in shock. I guess I wanted to read this with that context a little bit now because at first we didn't really understand why they're talking about this. So, editor one looks fun. By the way, picture was supposed to get locked this week. Did that happen? Just curious what version is going out into the world with all of our names on it. Did they keep their names though? I don't think so, right? I think the names are the new editors, right? Justin Baldoni, I'll watch soon. No idea. Repicture regarding the picture. Evidently, they are all at Book Bonanza hard. Oh boy, Justin. But second test didn't go any better. Over 35 went down and under stayed same. I guess Sony asked for more changes to get it closer to our cut, but I haven't watched. They're showing it at Book Bonanza. The whole movie, editor two. I think editor two was like I forget which one was like just had the best responses. Um yep, hers. Editor 1. Wow, Justin. Was supposed to be ours and then I was uninvited. Whole thing is pretty cruel and intense. Editor 1. Uneffing believable. Editor 2. Ugh, sorry, Justin. I love you both, he says. And then editor 1 sends hearts, editor 2 sends purple hearts. Um Editor 1, excuse me. I just hope you love or at least stomach the cut that this is going out into the world. And then Justin says, I haven't seen it. Can't yet. And he never sees it until it's in the theaters at the premiere, apparently. June 17. I think everyone's like, whoa, that is just insane. But again, as although very amateur, very tiny speck of a director that I've been, I I couldn't even imagine, even if my 48-hour film projects would be that way. And like I said, I think it was in the I don't know where I said my experience with a co-director. I brought him on, like, trying to do a good thing, trying to like help someone out that had less experience and blah blah. I brought them on and he took over the whole thing in a way, or he just messed with shots that were already in the shot list and all the stuff. And it was just a nightmare. And in the end, I was also the editor, so I kind of made at least best. But to just have like no, just for all of that to have been taken away, I've not had that happen, and I can't even imagine. It just hurts. It hurts. June 17th, Lively makes the unilateral decision to bring on a new composer for the film. As a result, the original award winning composer was let go despite having already completed the score, which included costly orchestral arrangements. Even though, another question, so do these people have they gotten paid up to that point? Or do they say, never mind, we're going to take back all the things? Um, I don't remember. I was only an extra as far as like Hollywood movies, and I don't remember. I think my paychecks came like after it was done, after the project. So, is that kind of what happens for anyone who knows? Like, does it just completely go? Like no one gets paid until the project is done. So if you get fired in the middle of the project or at the end, literally, although I mean, as editors, they were kind of typically they come later, I guess, or they can come later into it, depending on like, I don't know. Because no, he was doing work with them even before the writers' strike and stuff. So yeah, do they just not get paid for anything? Um, oh, it says here the what's the name? Gosh, I just need to read this. But I'm thinking about like the orchestra and stuff. Even though Lively had absolutely no right to do this, neither Wayfair nor Sony were able to challenge her decision despite the significant financial implications, paying out the original composer in full and shouldering the steep cost of hiring a new composer so late in the process. So the composer got paid. Did the editors get paid? Did the orchestra get paid? I imagine the orchestra did get paid. Um, anyways, June 18th, Sony Marketing requests that Baldoni waive his film by credit on the secondary poster so that only Lively's name would appear above the title. Further, okay, I still don't understand why she's the only actor mentioned also. Further, despite having already approved, I'll also just say from a graphic design standpoint, this poster and the way that her name is, it just isn't great. Oh, I don't know. It just looks very amateurish. And that's again independent of all of this lawsuit stuff happening. Um, I would have done something else with her name. I don't know. Like I would have I don't know. Anyways, June 18th, 2024, Sony Marketing requests that Baldoni waive his film by credit. I've done so many things in my life and I'm only 39. I can't believe it. Like, I did some graphic design, I did some film directing and producing and acting and editing and some other things as help to others. I've done, corporate stuff, marketing and accounting and admin and quality control. Like, it's just sorry, not this isn't about me, but it's like I just keep seeing things and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I have all of this experience that who know that I would be like something to talk about in these things." So June 18th, 2024, Sony Marketing requests this wave of film buy. Further, despite having already approved the poster for the film, it was understood by Wayfair that Lively would not approve this new version in which Baldoni's name appeared next to hers, thus requesting that Baldoni's name be removed. Sony obliged and made the ask to Baldoni. Given this is a contractual right that Baldoni negotiated, Sony needed Baldoni to put in writing that he was waiving his right to a film by credit. For clarity, there would be no reason for Baldoni to waive this right without Lively requiring him to do so. Ultimately, he acquiesced. So, hey, Jamie, this is from, I guess, Sony to Jamie. We have a Sony executive. We had a very successful weekend at Book Bonanza, and the fans love the book and art displayed at the event. We would like to release this art as our second teaser poster for domestic distribution, since it has already been released internationally in many markets. It only makes sense to use it domestically as well. We'd love to start printing tomorrow to get it into theaters. However, this version does not have Justin Baldoni's a film by credit, so we would need to waive that. Please let me know if this is approved. June 18th, on the same day that Baldoni waives his film by credit, and I wonder why. Is it just because, okay, we know that if I even fight this, she'll threaten that she won't promote it? Is that kind of why? Wafer also, or maybe because at this point it really wasn't his film, so he probably was like, it's better that way. I don't want my name associated with what I didn't do. Wayfair also reluctantly agrees to give Lively a producer credit on the film. This was an ask that she took to Sony, despite it being a decision properly made by Wayfair. She was originally credited only as an executive producer. There you go. But both Wayfair and Sony no longer had the leverage to oppose her demands or the will to deal with the fallout if they were to deny that credit at that point. But she is still just an executive producer on the poster on IMDb. Wayfair conceded. I think the poster would probably read like one of my 48s where it's like edited by Arena. costume design. Well, I didn't do the costume design for anything. Well, I think one of them. Um, directed by Arena, produced by Arena. This is kind of what I feel like technically it should read, producer Blake Lively, starring Blake Lively, directed by Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, because he did direct some of it, but it seemed like she directed some of it too. Written by the screenwriter and Blake Lively. Um, Costume design, Blake Lively. Um, okay. Wayfair conceded and informed Sony while also remarking that they would not be advocating for her getting a PGA mark, as that is not applicable. Given Lively's contributions to the film, it was collectively agreed among the producers that she had not earned the distinction of the PGA mark. Something for me to look into, because it seems like she's done everything. It seems like. It kind of maybe wasn't. I mean, she didn't really do her what I think is her duties as executive producer. She just went into all other things. Okay, so Jamie Heath, Sony to Sony Legal, hope you are well. I'm writing from Japan as I'm here on business. I did read this. She would not be getting the PGA mark as this is not applicable, but make her a producer. Give her producer credit. Sorry, I already did read this part. June 20th, 2024, shortly after granting Lively the producer credit, Heath was informed that Lively had reached out to Sony yet again. Again, it's interesting to note she's not talking to them directly, she's talking through intermediaries. I mean, if this does not scream like something more than just like a regular person doing regular person type of things, and having something that's a little bit more behind all of that as far as like control and all that. Again, see my one video on, is this, anything to do with narcissism at that time, and I still stand by, we cannot diagnose her. Absolutely. But are there, like, jumping off points for that kind of, like, those kinds of traits and things? Absolutely. I mean, this is, like, going through an intermediary, like, you love bomb, you speak directly to that person, get them on your side, get control over them, love bombing them, making them feel really good, etcetera, and then, just suddenly I forget what it's called and what it is, but, like, I remember something about, like, this intermediary kind of switch in conversation. Um, yeah, but it gives her more power. Like, I'm not even talking to you, and it just, like, it's also that, like, telephone game where it's giving more opportunity for not so much misunderstandings, but misunderstandings in her favor, how like she can twist it however, or I don't know. It's just like, how is this movie such like hell? Again, a lot of this I read and I'm like, oh, this doesn't, I'm sure this is not the first time that things like this happen, but all at once and to this degree, I don't feel like it has, for someone to take over this much and in these particular ways, and to the point where she's the only name on the poster, more or less, and all. Like, I mean, it's just, it feels excessive even for me reading this. Like, okay, there's a lot of power play that can happen in movies and productions. Anyways, as Heath had already noted in his email on June 18th, they didn't feel it right to misrepresent her contributions in order for her to get a PGA mark. And then, oh, any goodwill left was gone. There was no goodwill left. There was none. The moment that she said, "No, I am editing my version of this film. I will not sign the contract and I will not promote this movie unless you let me do my edit for as long as it takes, and I'm going to screen it to whoever I want." And that is, I feel, the point where no goodwill was left. That was like a month, almost, well, a little bit less than a month before this. Um, she is not going to Sony saying this guy is a monster, replace or I will walk. Right, exactly. She is saying if you don't give me control and executive producer, I will go public. Absolutely. And that's, that's like the thing that like we've talked about. I don't feel like it will ever talk about it enough, because especially when you're roping in actual survivors and victims out there in the world that suffer through so much, and she is using, like, calling upon them to support her, and she is doing these things where she's, whether her claims are true or not, using them instead of, going with them. Hey, like, fire this guy, consequences for this guy, consequences for this production, for these people, all that stuff. So they don't do it to other people, or even just so they don't do it to her anymore, or to, like, have actual consequences for these people doing something immoral, and or illegal, depending, how that's going to be shown or whatever. Instead, she's just using it. And it hurts. Like, personally, I know someone who, I don't know if they're still on her side, but who is affected, and it affects these people's lives that really believe that she is representing their experience. And it's just like, on one hand, I'm like, is it hurting them in the long run? Or once this is coming out and being shown as extortion and other things, and someone who is not an ally, who is not on women's side, who is not even making this about that, because again, her complaint was not about SH allegations. Those were to support her defamation, or not defamation. Was it defamation? That she was claiming a bunch of things, but to support, like, retaliation and the smear campaign allegations that she made. And for her to get her career back, like, look, they're making me look bad in the public. They set me up with the marketing, which was her and her husband's marketing firm, as we find out. A lot of it was, and then, Sony's part too. Like, I don't know, sometimes I get so, like, impassioned by this that I lose my train of thought. And that was one part. Sorry. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. Even though I'm trying to read this and just get through this, it just, like, sometimes just hits like a wave. Like, what? Whoa. Um, like, why is this even a discussion? Why is it a discussion? That's why I was saying. So her complaint came after. Let's say her complaint was about accusing Justin of these SH allegations, and not so much about the retaliation and the smear campaign. And I still, now that we're kind of in a lull, I'll probably read her complaint in full, because I read only part of it and skimmed through some parts and listened to other people. But it came after, and, like, it was again about herself and her career, and, like, wolf in sheep's clothing kind of thing, of the sheep clothing being, look, I'm a victim and I don't want this to be, it's um like a moral issue. It's a humanity, betterment of humanity issue. It's to protect other women kind of thing in the future from coming out against retaliation, etc., which is already kind of in place in workplaces. At least there are, like, retaliation laws, or policies, maybe not laws, but policies. And yeah, like, but she's using it, and it's just like, it hurts. It hurts. So will it help the audience that believes her, and, like, call goes because she calls on them and sees, like, oh yeah, this is what happened to me and this is how? Or will this audience, specifically, those that can relate to what she's calling them for, will they have this moment of, wow, I need to heal. I need to look into this so I'm not manipulated by people who want to manipulate me because I have this traumatic experience that I didn't ask for. But I need to heal this so I'm not no one will use it against me. Um, yeah, like I don't know how that will go, but it's just like, and again, like I also understand, and I want to kind of reiterate, these are their words. Most of them, most of these things, this timeline is in the words of the Baldoni side and the attorneys and so forth. So fair. We have a lot on, like, screenshots and stuff, but I understand. But I think it's been proven quite clearly that even if some of this is enflowered, as I don't know why that word is probably not, doesn't exist, but that's what comes to mind. It's like embellished. Um, the facts kind of remain, and the facts are quite dark. So moving forward, June 20th, 2024, Abel, Baldoni's publicist, emailed Sony marketing team to inquire about a content shoot. Again, so sorry. Please accept my apology. I already read this. But yeah, this is, I was just talking about maximum effort. And I think it was you, Dr. A, or someone in my first live saying, oh, it was his production, or yeah, his production company, marketing company, whatever. And and then I was like, where? And I was on the wrong, PDF, and here we are. So Sony at the time, so Maximum Effort, Ryan Reynolds production company, coordinated this marketing effort, this content shoot. And later Sony attested to the fact that Lively and Maximum Effort were running the show. Abel was understandably concerned at the optics of the entire cast doing a content shoot without the director and co-lead being present, and that was just opening Pandora's box at this point. Not even a can of worms, but Pandora's box, I think, is what we are opened. We have opened in Hollywood, in whole Hollywood, but like I said, behind the scenes Hollywood. Jennifer Abel, just checking to see if you know about this. Basically, sorry, I already read this. They're like, no, and then they're like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. Basically, what they said in the summary. Okay. So for the content, Blake and Maximum Effort are really running the show. We know it's Thursday and Friday, but Blake has been talking to talent and Maximum Effort is leading the planning. I just, again, I had another wave of like, what? How is she doing all this? Because it takes me back to the clip at Book Bonanza when she said that she bought, patches for jeans on Amazon for the public. Why is she controlling so much of other people's lives? Why is she controlling why is she having such an extreme need for control? At this point, it's not just about the production. Like, she bought off Amazon. She's making her own jeans, or, her co-star's jeans. She got her, was it $18,000 jeans? Which, why are jeans 18,000? Jeans should not be $18,000. I'm sorry. What is in that jean? Like a bunch of caviar and gold and titanium or whatever, diamonds, and no, what is in that jean that costs that much? Um, and then she's like coordinating the talent at Book Bonanza, the same thing. She called, and maybe it was like her assistants or whatever, but still she called the talent. I really believe I can see where she would actually call or text Isabella and Brendan herself and coordinate this stuff, and their assistants or whatever can do the actual travel planning or whatever, but all of this. Um but yeah, so the Sony executive said, I'm not flying for it either. So there we go. While contemplating the PG letter on June 25th, they're still dealing with that. And fearing what Lively was capable of, Heath reached out to Lively via text. I read this, and that was my point where I was like, huh, she is gone cold. She doesn't need them anymore. So she is not playing nice anymore. She's kind of, I don't even know that you can say she's showing her true self, because I think both are true. Like someone manipulating is also their true self. They're the manipulator side of themselves. But yeah. June 26th, after many conversations and once again feeling trapped, Baldoni and Heath write a letter of recommendation to the PGA on behalf of Lively. I wonder why because they wrote the letter, and then they also wrote this email saying, or maybe they attached the letter to this email saying, I'm writing to you all regarding a letter that I wrote on behalf of Justin and myself addressed to the Producers Guild. As you know, we received a request to write a recommendation on behalf of Blake. Sorry, I'll keep that on. For her to receive the PGA mark. This was a request that we feel was unreasonable and cold-hearted. When I read that initially in that official lawsuit of his, that's some strong language. Like, also very personal language, cold-hearted. Essentially, the movie It Ends With Us has been taken unjustly from Justin as a director and essentially from Wayfarer's control due to extortion of Blake. Interesting that they're sending this to the Producers Guild person, or I don't know. Um, and also, they're also guilty of not filing anything, or I don't know if they're claiming extortion that clearly. Without going into all the details of the events that have transpired over the months, Justin and I ended up agreeing to write the letter due to feeling trapped. She continued to hold the thread over our heads, and every time, and I have thoughts on this, every time we try and hold a line, she uses that thread either directly or indirectly to get us to fold. Make no mistake, I'm not suggesting that we were literally forced to acquiesce. I mean, kind of. But given the high profile of the movie, the partnership with Sony, the amount of money invested, and the need to complete the movie, we have written the letter the letter on her behalf, admitting the truth of how and why she was able to contribute in the ways we listed. There is nothing to do with this letter now. It only serves as a way to mem, memorialize. I don't know why the letter was sent in the first place. Should we ever need to explain it? Thank you, Jamie. Boy, is it nice. People read this letter, and I remember reading this letter the first time too, and we're like, well, isn't this proving her claims are true? If they didn't feel guilty of SH and all her claims, why would they feel threatened by her threats? Which is why all the other evidence I think is important to show I think, were at this point so into all of this. They were in that wave, like I was describing the other day. She's so funny. Where you're like tumbling and just seeing sand everywhere, and you don't know what is up and what is down and what is going on. And yeah, I think they probably also at this point were like, we don't even know where to begin to explain this. We don't know how to explain this. It isn't something that would be explained in a short email like this, or even a longer email, unless you're going super straight to the fact. And then you would have to prove that. And then, it's different putting screenshots and things into a lawsuit, I feel like, versus to a letter to some person working at the Producers Guild. So, which they could be sued for, because you legally, I think you can't just share, someone's conversation like that to, outside of legal terms. So I think this is now, knowing all the other stuff, this is how this reads to me, that they were trying their best to summarize their experience. I think, personally, my opinion, they were still in it. They didn't know what was up and what was down and what was happening. They were very confused, besides seeing their project, the technical facts of it, that she was editing, she was going to release her cut, she had all this control, she now wanted this PG mark, etc. But besides this, yeah, and I think it is yeah, I think that's why they didn't take their own legal action or other action or say go into this further and just, you know, I think that was part of it, that they were just so confused at this point. They were so like, if you've not had this happen to you, again, I think some of these things do happen everywhere, not just Hollywood. People taking over projects or companies, maybe not companies, but like people taking over things and all the stuff. But all the specific things that she did all in one project, I think, and maybe, combined with who they are and how they go about it, I think they just were just at a loss. They were in it. They were in that boiling water. They were just in that, well, yeah, the sandy water, the muddy water. They were just confused. And like, how do we even explain this? What is even happening? No one's going to believe them, right? Over Blake Lively. Not before this. June 28th, 2024. Heath, the CEO of Wayfair, expressed to Forbes on June 28th the high hopes for the film. The article would be later released in August, which also now makes sense why he, had all of these like nice things to say that, hopefully it helps someone. June 20th, 2024. Also, Lively and Reynolds company Maximum Effort organized a content shoot for the film's promotional campaign with the entire cast and author of the book. And they baked cookies, made flower arrangements, played Pictionary, collages, making, and other concepts developed by Maximum Effort team to support the film's promotion. Which again, like I said, some are like maybe more appropriate than others. They later posed for seemingly staged paparazzi photos before having dinner together. And like I mentioned, I guess they did like kind of, but they didn't show the screenshot. Here, Betty Buzz, that's my drinks company. Stop it. There's a book, teeny. Okay, well, this is it's a bad screenshot, but they tried. But basically, they made whoever they is, but this is what she says in the video. They made and I'll include this video too if I remember later tonight too. They made a little Betty Buzz drink, like the alcohol, because it's Betty Buzz and Betty Booze. So okay, maybe this is Betty Buzz. I don't remember. I think Betty Booze because she was promoting that one. But they made a little tiny, you know, bottle or whatever and put it inside this flower shop. The thing that I also feel like she probably didn't even think about, I think she was maybe thinking like, "Oh, women, what do women do to relax?" Because there's this horrible, and excuse me if I offend you, but this horrible narrative, it's not about you. It's not, an attack on you, or it's not an offense to you, but I think it's the industry that is promoting this idea of when you're stressed, just, grab your friends, grab your florals and drink. You know, there's when I was on Bumble BFF, which now is like called BFF, there's so many women searching for friends, for like girlfriends that like friends that are girls that would say, into wine and chill, or like wine whatever or wine whatever. It's like that that is like a problem. I don't know that I can say the word, but like it's a problem with alcohol. Like at that point, if you're using it to de-stress, or you're using it, to tackle your problems or to avoid your problems, or because you're having things happen to you and you're using it, that's also not okay, and that's a medical issue actually. So that idea that she and Taylor Swift, like Taylor alluded in one of her songs about it, like I forget one of the songs off of her new album, that like I think people read it and maybe it more how she meant it, but I kind of took it literally. Like no one notices you have a problem with alcohol until you are becoming more messy with it or something. And so I think they don't understand that's not okay to do. And so they didn't think twice about the correlation of alcohol and why you shouldn't promote it in this movie. But I'll have to go look, and maybe it was a Betty Buzz, the non-alcoholic drink. Um, okay, so here's them going to dinner or whatever. July 1st, by July 2024, Baldoni was completely locked out of the film's final cut. By virtue of his role at Wayfair, he was permitted to give notes as a studio, but not as a director. Crazy. She was putting back a fair amount, they said. So, Justin, I just wanted to check in. Are you back to 100%? Because he had the spine infection. And any updates on our little movie? Just hoping all is good with everyone and everything. Justin. And I think his editors were both female, I want to say. At least one was female, I think. Justin Baldoni, sorry. Blank missed this. Didn't mean to not respond. Okay, sorry. Sometimes I just get caught in like no things that don't make sense to be caught in. Really been distancing myself from the movie as best as I can for my sanity. Lots of great internal work, finding real gratitude. Been some more hard things over the last few weeks that would blow your mind. We'll all catch up soon. Today, I have to give notes on the final mix. I have not seen the locked cut of the film. Evidently, it's been worked on more and she's been mixing. I'm getting to give notes as a studio today, not a director. Very hard, but I'm okay. Really doing a lot of work to detach. We made a beautiful baby together. The baby might not grow up uh, tone exactly who we thought, but it's still beautiful. That's what I'm holding on to. Very proud of us. Editor one. Wow. I can't say I'm shocked because I was hoping that you were going to be able to not let this beat you down, and it sounds like you have achieved that. And yes, the movie we handed. Oh, sorry, so sorry. Let me start that again. Yes, the movie we handed her was so good that even if it's been screwed with, the base work will still shine through. The last I heard was that she was putting back a fair amount of our version, just not sure what that entailed or to what extent. I guess you'll find out today. Whew, hang in there and we'll all catch up when the wounds are not quite as fresh. Sending love to you. Why is it so hard for me to read these text messages? Anyways, July 2nd, on a Zoom video conference between Wayfair and Sony Marketing, Wayfair learned that Sony had been dealing with extensive notes and revisions to the marketing plan as a result of the content shoot, because Sony ended up hiring Reynolds' company, Maximum Effort, to produce the promotional content of the film. Okay, now I understand. Okay. Okay. Yeah. The cost for the shoot significantly increased due to their fee being higher than what Sony had originally budgeted. Notably, this charge was despite Lively's claim in 2023 that it would be work for free for the family. Did she say like The Sopranos or something? Mafia style. Okay, not specifically Sopranos, or what was the other movie? The other mafia movie. So yeah. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, like I'm like, you just said this before. Oh boy. Um, so Wayfair marketing. Hi. Here's a summary of what was shared during my biweekly with the digital and social team. And yeah. Campaign and media strategy. The media blitz will start between the 14th and 18th. The digital social team is preparing for I'm not gonna say it on live, but marketing is just it's like PR for the rest of the world. I I don't know. I think it's going to have major changes. I think it's already facing a lot of changes in the same kind of way. People don't want to see fake, polished, put together, not so human things. And a lot of companies are resisting that. And a lot of companies like, oh, we don't want to take a stand. We don't want to be, pro diversity. We don't want to be, having like social justice things that we support. We want to be as old school as possible, where it's like, yeah, we don't support these things because we're not saying that. There's a lot of companies that I worked for as marketing. It's like, no, like don't even say like Happy Indigenous Day. It's like, wow, okay, you are not going to last too long in this world, in this new world, as we're becoming more, uh, people would say woke. I would say just awakened, evolved, I don't know, human. Okay. So July 10th, whilst dealing with the Baldoni mounting PR headaches, Baldoni's publicist Jennifer Abel was dealing with her stuff. I cannot believe that this is actually where I left off, and here we are an hour later. But yes, so she was dealing with Stephanie Jones. Tensions were reaching a tipping point when Jones, whose behavior had become increasingly erratic and hostile, demanded Abel corroborate falsified accusations, and then took her phone, and we read through this. Um yeah, how was the pop-up? Jennifer Abel, it looks so good. Justin was great. I feel bad for him because he's just under so much pressure and so sensitive that he can't even acknowledge when something is good. He just looks so dazed and sad, but he did a really great job. Ryan Reynolds is apparently constantly calling his agent blank blank and saying what a horrible person Justin is. It is so weird. Whoa, that is what? We knew about the one award show or whatever that they attended that he said that, but like constantly calling his agent to, like, so, which makes more sense why he was dropped so fast, because if they kept getting these pressures throughout what, a whole month or more. No, they dropped him. I think they dropped him in December. So yeah, through the months since July, or maybe even earlier, they were just getting these calls from Ryan Reynolds. Hey, drop him, drop him, drop him, because he's a terrible person. He did this to my wife. He did this to my wife. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, so here are some pictures. Okay, Lively and Reynolds. This is with survivors, or well, they don't say. Lively, Reynolds, and other members of the film's cast attend the premiere for Deadpool and Wolverine. At the after party, Wayfair was informed that Reynolds approached a senior executive, WME, and expressed his deep disdain for Baldini, going as far as to suggest that the agency is working with that kind of guy. Which I don't know Justin Baldoni personally. I don't. So all I can do is say with 99.9 belief that he's not this. But I don't know, because I don't know him as a person, and I'm also not him. So I don't know. But that is like a big claim. That is not okay. Especially if Ryan knew that he wasn't. Maybe he didn't know he was, and maybe he was just, hearing what he was doing from Blake, or what, the claims were, or whatever. But also, from SH and to this is also quite a big jump. Like, this is not the same thing, but he's a writer. July 23rd, Sony informs Wayfair, the studio financing the premiere and most of the film, that Lively has demanded that Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfair refrain from attending the New York premiere, and threatens a cast-wide boycott if they do. This is just insane. Insane. July 24th, mindful of the potential premiere boycott and not knowing what Lively and Reynolds were planning to do with Baldoni and team attendant, Abel emails the Wayfair team requesting Lively's November legal letter, correctly assuming that Lively would try to use the letter against Wayfair. Interesting. With the letter in hand, Abel intends to draft context for each issue to ensure the team. They didn't have this letter? Wait. Okay, yeah. Wayfair did, but she didn't. Okay, they didn't give it to her. Okay. which fair enough. I think they could have kind of said, "Hey, Jen, this might be coming out. Here's this letter that they might use against us. We'll just need to be prescriptive and immediately refuting whatever is made public with the facts, third party sourcing on background, and if necessary, a legal response." Abel clarifies that they are demands, not grievances. That is technically true. So this is I guess more proof that they were in defense. But also you can at this point say that they were potentially, trying to prevent retaliate, or they were retaliating, prevent her from coming out about this. But what she's saying so far, what this is all saying so far, is that she was, just getting ready with whatever needed to be released to the public if these claims are coming out. Okay, so I just got off the phone with Rayfair, and she was asking for our Rex for potential crisis. Okay, yeah. So read that. Sorry again. So they hire Melissa Nathan, a PR veteran, crisis management, crisis PR manager. Abel, having previously worked with Nathan, endorses her based on their strong professional relationship. I will also add to this because people are like, "Oh, well, they worked, or Melissa worked with Johnny Depp," and I guess that's a bad thing because people are not believing Johnny Depp at this point, which I I kind of have said my opinion on that. I think that is just even so much more messy and it's so much more personal, and I'm staying out of really that. I feel like they're both the victim and the perpetrator. Um Maybe not necessarily equally, but kind of. I don't know. That's all I can think of that. However, just because she worked with, I don't know, there is something to be said as far as like, I guess, lawyers, maybe, or representing people and who you're representing. But I think because that one to me is such a gray area and not so clear, I would say that it's kind of irrelevant that she also worked as a crisis PR manager or whatever for Johnny Depp, if that's right. That's the claim. It doesn't mean that Justin's guilty because of that, which is a weird correlation to create because she's worked with other people. It's not like she's only worked with Johnny Depp. It's not like she only, like she's worked with other people. She's as they say, a veteran in the field. And I guess I'll have to look up what that means, how far behind, how many clients she's had and stuff. But like, for sure, this was not her first or second rodeo. So it's just kind of confusing. I feel like it's one of the lively camp narratives that are kind of used as a deflection of things. But yeah, Wayfair meets with Nathan and her firm, the agency group PR LLC, aka Tag. Oh, that's why Tag. Okay, July 25th. After the introductory call, Tag provided a document detailing the proposed scope of work. And then I remember they said basically, okay, but you know, we're not very happy. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, Melissa. Jen and our team will connect tomorrow and go through everything. I know time is definitely of the essence here. We will aim to have a plan to you by the end of tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. And then someone emails back from Wayfair Studios, or somewhere, I don't know. Hi, all. Thank you so much again for the time last evening, for the incredible context provided to us. As promised, please find our attached scope of work. Oh, this is okay. So it's someone in Tag, which details, excuse me, which details our overall approach, opportunities to prevent and mitigate crisis, aid the larger team in branding and messaging, and finally, our cost of services. We look forward to your thoughts and feedback on this. And of course, please do let us know of any questions you might have. Wouldn't that be great? Please do not let us know of any questions you might have. We do not want to hear that. I was watching Emily D. Baker before this. She was finally getting to this. She has a lot of cases going. And my understanding from her is even though this will not be televised, the inside the court stuff, and the lawyers' comments on it will be fairly minimal. Anything that will be filed will be public so far, is what we'll know. So if they include things like the scope of work PDF if they add it to all of this filing, we might see what that looks like exactly. And maybe, that proves one thing or another. I think that's a definitely open question for everyone at this point. What is inside that? Never mind. Here it is. I'm really bad at this today. Not as bad as yesterday. Not as bad as yesterday. Tag PR will work closely with Jones Works, Justin Baldoni Wayfair Studios, and its applicable executives to design and implement a crisis communication strategy to protect and enhance the reputations of Justin Baldoni, Wayfair Studios, and their executives while navigating through anticipated and unforeseen challenges leading up to the It Ends With Us premiere and its aftermath. Boy, what an aftermath. As scared me. As part of our efforts to protect the company's position, Tag PR will provide ongoing strategic counsel and rapid interference to mitigate references of controversy, correct inaccurate narratives, and push out factual, positive messaging to create a level of control and balance in coverage surrounding the premiere and in the months afterwards. People might say, well, this is PR, so, how do we believe them that their use of the word push out factual positive messaging is to be trusted? And I would say, I don't know what to say to that. Also, it's not on me to say anything to that, but at one point, if you question everything, w- what is the truth? But yeah, um, everything though sounds like they claim that they were hired to in defense, not proactive. Our plan will be tailored to reach key audiences, including selected media, industry decision makers, oh, interesting, partners, investors, and other creatives to ensure the longevity and prosperity of Justin Baldoni, Wayfair Studios, its applicable executives, and future projects. This is pretty cool. Like, it's not just like to the public, but it's to ensure like their reputation basically, and as they said, the longevity and prosperity of this individual, this studio, and the applicable people, or at least the executives and projects. Like, yeah. Not like surprising, but it's just like cool to see written. Our approach will include the following elements. Okay, so crisis prevention and mitigation. Support Justin Baldoni, Wayfair Studios, and its applicable executives with independent strategic counsel and perspective. Curate statements, background information, and talking points for press reflecting the company's core values, key messaging, and the integral role they play to bring this film to life. Develop a comprehensive scenario planning document outlining a series of potential outcomes with a suggested course of action for each variable. So far, nothing is attacking the other side or anyone or anything. It's like provide our values, provide, why we did this, why Wayfair Studios, et cetera, who these people are, like talking about themselves. Develop a comprehensive scenario planning. Did I read this? I think I just read this. Catalog third party validators from the crew, previous projects, and other industry peers to establish credibility around the narrative and help shape perception in the press. Catalog third party validators from the crew of the movie, of Justin, of Wayfair, or all of the above, maybe. Provide input on specific inquiries and liaise with reporters to mitigate negative stories correct inaccuracies. Monitor coverage and social conversations, correcting and updating stories and headlines in real time. I mean, is this not standard and what you would not expect of PR or crisis management in general? I mean, again, I don't think people would dispute that, but this is exactly what I'm reading. As needed, our team can be helpful in identifying and supporting future proactive opportunities to further assuage any potential negativity. These efforts will include align with Jones Works and team on the timeline for the coming months to establish key moments and determine accessible opportunities. Support Jones Works in media management as appropriate to ensure Justin, the company, and its team are positioned in a positive light. Define target audiences and identify areas of focus and sensitivity. Review, refine, and help to create all existing communications materials and incorporate consistent, unified messaging, including but not limited to boilerplates, talking points, press releases, statements, event and appearance materials, promotional language, and more. And this, for a moment of pause for anyone who expects a lot when they try to be or they are judged as influencers, as aspiring filmmakers, as entrepreneurs in anything. This is a whole team that is supporting another team that is supporting a person and a team. Like, yeah, the hardship of one person making sure their name is not slandered and not misrepresented, not have, things said that are not factual about them or whatever is hard. And to like promote yourself to so much research goes into, even if you're completely moral, doing the right thing, everything's like, as people say in the US, on the up and up, right? Everything's like okay, but you still have to somehow reach your audience, or b mitigate anyone who, as the internet calls, trolls or anything, you know and it's hard, and it's the reality we live in, and I just wanted to take a moment to express that, to pause for that. Continuing, curate statements, background information, and responses for press. Provide input on press inquiries as appropriate and liaise with reporters through this time of crisis to filter through opportunities and determine which are valuable to Justin, Wayfarer Studios, and executives' overall profiles and reputations. Manage and oversee any potentially negative stories and correct inaccuracies as necessary. Work with Jones Works and team to monitor relevant coverage and social conversations while flagging, correcting, and updating as needed, adding statements and background items and more in real time. Perform media training and prep sessions by drafting and reviewing talking points and facilitating a mock interview experience as necessary. Okay. Yeah. Look at this though, $15,000 a month. This is the agency fees. Expenses to add on top of that for 3 months. And I always felt like I was super shy and never thought I was underpaid. And I'm not saying I was in a different industry and all that stuff, but like I think most of the country is underpaid, while a lot of people are doing similar work overpaid, or maybe there's a little bit in between, like satisfactorily paid. I have to remember to drink water because, one, as I'm talking, my sinuses keep clearing. But also two, like I get off these lives and um I'm very dehydrated. My head hurts and I'm starting to feel that already. Okay, July 26th. Upon learning that Wayfair was considering working with Melissa Nathan, Stephanie Jones, seeing her as a competition, was began pressuring Abel to intervene and tell Wayfair that was shady. Abel refused to do so, which only made Jones more irritated. I mean, they literally said, "We're supporting, align with Jones' work and team, support Jones' works in the media." They literally said they were there in support. Yes, they were having to be paid $15,000 a month plus expenses, but were working together. If this case teaches you anything, where there's many people, there's power. This is what's happening with all the people supporting Justin. Things have been unveiled and discovered by the huge amount of people looking into this. So don't refuse teamwork, Jones, or anyone. Stephanie Jones just spoke to you, blank. Can I call you quickly? Oh God, I just saw your note. We can talk later. What was your feedback to blank? All she said was, "I'm working with Steph on this, but we have reached out to Melissa Nathan for crisis comms. Steph has flagged some issues and potential conflict with us and Jamie and I. Oh, and Jamie and I are investigating and we will keep you posted." And I'm like, "Okay, let me know how I can help." Steph just texted me too, and I'll call her back. And that was it. Pretty short. I called you right after. Wait, she's saying this to Stephanie. Okay. Stephanie Jones, surprised you didn't weigh in on with an opinion. Don't you think you should also text Jamie me blank with how we feel? We always discuss how she doesn't lead with integrity. You say how shady she is all the time. Just kind of surprised you wouldn't weigh in with that. Jennifer, she literally said she was into it with you and that she and Jamie were investigating. It wasn't open of a call where she asked for my opinion, more of telling me what was going on and that she would keep me posted. And I said, "Okay, I'll call Steph." She just texted me. So she didn't deny that she's called Melissa Nathan shady. Which, that's also like, it can be, maybe she changed her mind after all of this, like who the shady person was. That can happen too. Okay, I think since we are, this is Stephanie again. I think since we are all on the chat, you should share with them how you feel about her too, so we are honest and it's not just me. Definitely think it's important for you to voice concern too. That's why she called you. Capitalization and punctuation, please. She said you didn't, so that kind of hurts me. This is why I think I'm having a hard time reading these screenshots because it's just not. I don't even text like this. Anyways, she said you didn't, so that kind of hurts me. I can call her back to fill her in. I didn't say anything other than what I texted you. It was a quick call. In transparency, Stephanie, I think it would be better to put on group text with us. Jennifer. Sorry. I'll call something. I don't want to put anything else in writing. Stephanie, you don't trust Tara in me. Jennifer, she made it seem like she was handling this separate from us, so I didn't dig in and didn't want to get more involved. They wanted to hire someone neutrally from us, Stephanie. Jen, we talk about lots on text. It's okay. She wanted you to opine. Jennifer, let me call you back. My friend just got here. Stephanie, call me please. Okay. It's just three of us. You can put in text of what you tell me is truthful. I would feel better if you did because it makes me feel like we're corroborating. Did she mean collaborating? I think she meant collaborating. Corroborating, I believe, is a different thing. Jennifer, stop. I'm not part of that at all. Well, That's strong. Like stop. I'm not comfortable putting in writing. I'll fill her in on the blank of it all. I'll call her tomorrow because I'm with people now and I'm going to a movie after this. Stephanie, help me understand why you don't want to put she's shady and we don't want to work with her in writing. You don't have to use her name. Doesn't add up. I love you and this is killing me. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Also, hold on for a water break. I don't think this is love bombing. This is, well, is it? I love you and this is killing me. Definitely dramatic and definitely pushing. I would feel uncomfortable if my boss or anyone was pushing me when I didn't say anything. Okay, the second time, whatever. But the third or fourth time that, like, why don't you want to put it in text? I'm like, you're planning something against me if you keep insisting that I put this on text. I do find it interesting that she isn't denying it, but then I think also, well, maybe she's not denying it because, again, this is opinion or whatever. Maybe she's not denying it because she doesn't want to upset her boss, right? She's not going one way or another. And why does she need to say that she's shady? And I think that's why she's like, why do I need to put this in text? Like my opinion of this person, one way or another. I don't know, but I would feel very uncomfortable. And she is doing the same thing that Blake Lively did. Just like, I love you and this is killing me. Like, please, with the dailies, like, come on, give them to me. And just like changing tactics. I love you too. You have to trust me. Please, this is not worth stressing over, Stephanie. This makes me sad. Whoa. You don't want to put her name. We need honesty and transparency. This is manipulation, people. This makes me sad. This is manipulation. Or I'll allege that, right? Allegedly, or whatever. Like, my opinion. It's not a fact. I'm not, but wow. July 26th, after extensive consultation and frustration over Reynolds and Lively's ongoing threats, Baldoni and Heath informed Sony that Wayfair will attend its own premiere. Given Lively's heavy promotion of the film, the likelihood of her boycotting seemed low, and her leverage appeared to be weakening as the event neared, or so they thought. However, Baldoni remained deeply anxious, fearing potential retaliation from Lively and Reynolds simply for attending his own premiere. Like, he can't even do his own premiere? I mean, now we know that he can't even defend himself. They don't want that. They issued a protection order or a gag order or something, um, before they even filed a complaint or at the same time they filed a complaint. Like, "Oh, we're finding this against you. We're trashing your name." And whether or not public to the New York Times, it would be public to the public anyway. Someone would have taken that complaint that they had, but you're not allowed to speak on this. And this is the same thing, like, oh, we are not letting you do your own premiere, but you can't have one of your own either. Like, this is so beyond. Talk about retaliation, though. This is so beyond like anything reasonable or moral. If this guy is a bad guy, like, this is not how you handle bad guys. And no one can tell me that she didn't know because she's so, naive and like a 12-year-old that doesn't know anything about legalities and about just, adult mindset of things, of how you handle stuff, where you don't retaliate if you think someone's bad. So, like, I don't know, whatever. Okay. Um cool. That same day, an article surfaced about another director facing allegations of inappropriate on-set behavior. Baldoni forwarded the link to Abel, adding his own remarks. This is the stuff I'm sure they want to do. Unnamed sources, etc. And it was about Francis Ford Coppola kissing Megalopolis extras surfaces. video surfaces as crew members detail unprofessional behavior on set, etc. Um, and then this is an not impossible, but at this point, pretty impossible email to read. Amid the turmoil surrounding Baldoni and over 2 weeks after submitting her resignation, Abel emailed Jones to express gratitude and assure her of no ill will. I think I did read this actually in one of my other videos. July 30th, 2024, Sony and marketing executives informed Heath and Abel that Lively has demanded Baldoni conduct his junket interviews on a different day than hers, further ostracizing Baldoni. Abel pushes back, arguing that this would signal to the press that something was wrong. Blake Lively was, so where's the problem? Like, tell me something I don't know. July 31st, social media detectives begin to notice Baldoni's absence from the promotional content being posted online. Again, there was even a way, because of the content and the subject matter, and that he was both director and actor. I don't know. I keep saying this. There was a way to mask this if all the parties wanted. If she just didn't want him to be near her because she wanted to control the whole narrative, she wanted to speak about the project, from her point of view, as if she made this project and not him. Because I think that's why she ultimately didn't want him anywhere around, or part of the reason, my opinion. Um, but otherwise, she could have said, or both parties could have agreed to say, that's because he's the director and because of the character, he's like the bad guy or whatever of the movie. And so, like they could have, I'm not a PR person and really a marketing person. I don't know how to spin this, but in my mind, I know there's a spin to that would have been less damaging to all of them. August 2, recognizing the extreme measures Lively and Reynolds were taking to undermine Baldoni, Baldoni, Heath decide to retain Nathan and Tag. Baldoni and Heath did so after Abel learned from Nathan that a negative story was being circulated among media contacts, labeling Baldoni's religion as a cult and accusing him of fat shaming Lively. Feeling uneasy, Baldoni texts Abel for reassurance. She responds in part, "Truth is your defense." Cool. PR thread with Tag. The scenario planning. Hi all, as promised, sending our scenario planning document here before our call. Looking forward to discussing this in greater detail and to the group's thoughts and feedback. Thank you. Justin, just read. Please note this is my third film as a director, not my first. No, I've been saying that too. Everyone, he was probably listening to everyone covering all of the complaint stuff, saying this is his first time directing, and he's like, "This is not my first." Oh my gosh. So and so says, yes, apologies, making that correction, and then sent it over corrected. So I like that they included that. They just included that as a nod to every freaking person online who did not do their homework. And, talk about not doing their homework. Like, it was really easy. Just a quick IMDb. Who is this guy? And you would see, oh, he's directed these kind of movies before, and he was in Jane the Virgin and blah blah. Like, but yeah. Justin Baldoni, morning, not in love with the document they sent, not sure I'm feeling the protection I felt on the call. And then Jennifer, this is the first time I've personally gone through through scenario planning with them, so I think let's let them discuss. This is in the original complaint in much better clarity. But they did have this highlight. The truth is your defense. You have done nothing wrong, and there is over a year worth of facts and paper trails and people who can go on background as your defense. They didn't, or so far. This document is an overview, and I think as the situation evolved, and as it has become realized, the great lengths she has gone to in order to cut you out of not just the film, but promo, the premiere, etc. We need to prepare as if she will also go through any great lengths with press. It's a good thing if we all prepare for the worst outcome, because then if and when it's not as bad, we are over prepared. I think that in the end, it is kind of good that it didn't break out in an all-out PR war, because again, I think it's a good place to start for some for the Hollywood kind of back end stuff to change, and legally maybe things can come out that will ensure protection for directors, for screenwriters, for whatever, um a little better going forward, maybe from this. Hart, please get the lawyer hired ASAP. Jennifer, it's my understanding Blank is already all over that, but I'm here to help. And so this is the CRD complaint, and they took out and picked and cherry picked, interestingly, things. This, I think, is also included in the New York Times. I'm sure it is included in the New York Times complaint, or like in the previous complaint, not as blurry, because I really, yeah, especially these, yeah, excuse me, but you can see how much they left out. And sometimes it's like, well, I guess it wasn't really saying anything different, or it wasn't that important. But sometimes it was. I think it was in my first video that I was of of reading this amended complaint, that I was like, oh, well, that does change a little bit more to their side, to Justin's side. August 3rd, social media chatter begins to intensify, with users questioning why is Justin not in any of the promos. August 4th, Abel and Nathan commiserate about the situation, with Abel jokingly suggesting they plan negative pieces about Lively, while Nathan understands Abel's comments are lighthearted. She responds seriously, advising they wait to see how the next few days unfold and stay vigilant. Nathan also notes being aware of a story from Lively's camp intended to hurt Baldoni's reputation. Both agree to stay alert and avoid taking any hasty action. You could have stayed at my apartment, Melissa. Stay next time. Jennifer, ha. I appreciate that, but I'm making them pay for a nice hotel and room service. I'm starving, lol. Okay, good. I'm having reckless thoughts of wanting to plan pieces this week of how horrible Blake is to work with, just to get ahead of it. She's putting us through hell. Same. Am I already off the records? Spoke to the editor. Am I already off the records? Spoke to the editor, Daily Mail, because she's my friend. She's ready when we are. What did she think? Um, Gosh, she's ready. I was trying too hard to find that one. She's ready to do whatever. I'm following your lead about this. Melissa, we need to see how the next 2 or 3 days go and keep our ears to the floor, and we hear everything. We are prepped and can do anything, but I don't want to rush. We already know about one story in the works. Let's just keep across if let's just keep across it. That's what's good about having these relationships, is that we can move really fast. Yes, master. Ha. It's just a delicate line we need to keep in mind, that we know when to do it and when to not do it. I mean, she's good. They're ready, but she's also seemingly understanding how this works. Like, we don't want to come across like we're doing a smear campaign, and they probably didn't even think about the retaliation claims, but maybe. So we need to be smart of when to plan to things and when to not, allegedly. But yeah, I mean, this is PR, right? This is PR. Like, we're ready to go. And I will say, TMZ, as much as they say, oh, we got it from both sides, they were 100% sounding very much on Blake Lively's side out of the two. Like, I don't hear anything in their way of speaking about things that is not that. Even with the coverage of the press, I think, of the hearing of the press, wow, of the hearing. Anyways, Baldoni on August 5th, Baldoni's first film full day of press began before 6 a.m. Later that morning, shared a link with Abel to an article on celebrity bullying that had appeared on his Twitter feed. Given the circumstance that Baldoni had found himself in, the article's timing resonated with him, as he was understandably feeling bullied. So he took a screenshot and sent it to Abel. And this is the Haley Bieber thing. And I forget what he says. This is what we would need. Jennifer, yes, I literally just spoke to Melissa about this on the break about what we discussed last night for social and digital. Focus on Reddit, TikTok, IG. So my understanding now is like this is what we need. Like we need to show. What is this saying? Now, there's something about how supposedly Selena Gomez or her fans were bullying Haley Bieber and highlighting that. And he's like, this. I like how they say it, Twitter, because it's been X for a while. Millennials. Yes, I literally just spoke to Melissa about this on the break about what we discussed last night. Blah blah. Focus on Reddit. She wants to interview me, and then want to have her email me. Okay, so whatever. Well, August 5th, that evening. The same thing with like Blake, on her side. If we see kind of these similar conversations, but not pulling the trigger on any of the stories that they sent, that's a whole other thing, right? August 5th, that evening, unbeknownst to Baldoni and Wayfair, Lively and the rest of the cast attend a meta screening of the film at the Roxy Hotel. The event includes a Q&A session with Colleen Hoover and the cast, with everyone except Baldoni, which exclusion further highlights Baldoni's deliberate sidelining. Fans and journalists quickly noticed the absence of the film's director and co-lead, sparking online chatter and fueling rumors about tensions behind the scenes. The incident underscores the growing divide and continuing efforts to exclude Baldoni from the film's production. And here's a picture of that. It's like all of the cast except him, and then Colleen. Like literally, yeah, that would definitely spark. Like, hold up. At the premiere of the film in New York on August 6th, Baldoni is instructed to walk the carpet separately from the rest of the cast. However, he is quickly ushered off the press line when it is announced that Lively is on her way. Once inside the theater lobby, security escorts Baldoni and his family to the basement to prevent a potential encounter with Lively and the cast. They are then taken to a basement stockroom for holding while Lively, Reynolds, and the rest of the cast walk the pink carpet. After the lobby, if I was her, I couldn't, I wouldn't have gotten this far, but like I couldn't stomach or heart it, to like smile and just be like, nothing's wrong. One, if something was wrong in a way that I was like the victim, or if something was wrong in a way that I was victimizing someone, like I just couldn't heart it. Um, I know people say stomach it, but I think my stomach would have been like decently okay, but like my heart, like I would just feel it. After the lobby clears, Baldoni, Heath, and their friends and family are ushered to a small theater at the end of the hallway for a separate screening. And yeah. Um, August 7th, articles about a potential cast feud began circulating online, and social media chatter intensifies. Audiences take notice that the cast had unfollowed Baldoni, and fans observe that he was absent from any promotions. This confirms Baldoni's team and Sony's long-standing concerns. The situation was overshadowing the film. Baldoni and Wayfair feared it would also undermine the film's message. Almost. Only 60 pages to go. This is The Sun. Cast chaos. It ends with us fans suspect Justin Baldoni is feuding with cast including co-star Blake Lively after spotting clues. After spotting clues. Um, August 7th, Nathan texts Abel. This is the time to make a decision on social planning. Would rather be in the front than in the back, and it costs way more in the back. Abel responds, do you think we need it? Abel remains unconvinced that any changes are necessary. Nathan and Abel continue to do the work outlined in the tag scope of services, which at this stage involved monitoring, coverage, and social conversations, correcting and updating stories and headlines in real time. So, blah, blah, blah. Do you think we need it? I'm just going to say one thing. This is the time to make decision on social planning. Would rather be in the front rather than in the back, and it costs way more in the back. Okay, this is exactly what they said. Um, and I hope that I am 100% wrong, but just have to flag you. No, that's my job. Jennifer, do you think we need it from what you are seeing? Because we have also planned response if needed, considering all of the interviews he's doing between now and Friday. Not now the second, not the second, but it's one of those better safe than sorry. I don't think there is a safe in this situation at all. Everything is a sorry for everyone, for Blake, for Justin, for all of their sides. But I get it at this point how they're thinking that. But from what I'm saying, I don't think you need it this second, but just want to be really, really aware. I am an over planner because you something. Phew, thank God for you. Just something to kill. Nothing to kill right now, don't worry. Oh, okay. Phew, thank God for you. Just to be aware, oh God, famous last words, Jen. This might be a fight, but we will continue, but we will come through it well. That's all that matters. Um, something Justin Baldwin and Colleen Hoover, it's starting to show up all over TikTok that there's drama between them. All also they unfollowed each other. I it read that. I don't know, something jewelry sparkles in the light and okay, ramen. We can't change the headline. It's not a place that would. It's clickbait and it's reporting on what happened, which did happen. We need to concentrate on the big media and socials, but monitor that article heavily. Okay, copy. I think we really need to put the social combat plan into motion. So do I. We are heavily monitoring, trust me, and have our friendlies updating us as well. Cool, cool, cool. Oh boy, sorry. Oh, this is where it continues. Uh, I'm on over planner because you know socials. Understand we should get on a call with Jamie today. We will likely have a break around 11:30 Eastern time from my friend at TMZ, Justin Baldoni tips hitting our email about his beef with Blake and Colleen Hoover. What? What are the tips? I asked, that was my follow up question. If we can kill before we do the Today Show, nothing to kill right now, don't worry. And then this text, and then back to this text. It's all fan speculation because he was in Sweden and then director did press separately. Um, and then as a director, and then just say they never effing followed. LOL. I hate everyone. Same something. Vogue cover just dropped something. I read it. It's fine. Barely anything about the movie. The entire thing is meaningless fluff. Okay, so she didn't blank him then. No, no, thank God. She finishes the cookie and something. Okay. We're heavily monitoring, trust me, and have our friendlies updating us. Can you call Jamie and get the free light? Green light. Yes. Sorry, we are back in press. And then a variety. It ends with us review Blake Lively stars in a romantic soap opera that turns dark and stays convincing. It wasn't even a soap opera. This is a soap opera. By the way, I think this year marks the first year I've been able to say soap opera for 20, 30 years now. 20 years. I've not been able, no, yeah, 30 years. I've not been able to say that word. Just a personal milestone. August 8th, 2024, online chatter escalates and cast tensions become the headline across major publications. Um, SA allegations came after she did not get the producer credit she wanted. I mean, well, she had the 17 points before that, and she did get the producer credit in the end. However early she wanted that she asked for it later on, it seems, unless they're covering for her, which I don't think at this point they are. So this is Perez Hilton. What the heck is going on with Justin Baldoni and the entire It Ends With Us cast? Blake Lively, Bad Blood. This is where they say like, oh, he's just an internet troll now, blah blah blah. Yeah, all the juicy evidence the cast of It Ends With Us are secretly beefing with Justin Baldoni. Titles. Okay. The Sun, just awkward. Justin Baldoni stumbles as he's asked about Blake Lively live on Today, fueling rumors. It Ends With Us. I mean, I don't know. I think he was doing a pretty good job, at least like answering the questions about her in a positive way. August 8th, Stephanie Jones from whoever. Hi, Stephanie. I'm an independent reporter. I hope you are both well. My name is Blank, and I'm a reporter for The Independent. I'm approaching you for a comment in regards to fan speculation for Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. That they had a falling out during production on It Ends With Us. Several fans on social media have pointed out that Lively and Colleen Hoover no longer follow Baldoni on Instagram, and they have also noted that Lively and Baldoni don't appear in photographs together in the US premiere. And sorry, would you be willing to respond on these feud rumors? I kind of started to like Taylor Swift's approach of don't follow anyone. It does get annoying if you're on there and you want to, stay like keep your people that you want to see all the time on that list. But yeah, I think it's safer that way, especially as a public person. Excuse me. August 8th, 2024 at 10:11 a.m. Uh, Pacific Standard Time. Nathan and Lively's publicist Leslie Sloan reach an agreement whereby neither will communicate directly with a excuse me, my hiccups come in like doubles or triples all the time. With a reporter prior to informing the other. Nathan states, I am not doing one thing without speaking to you, to which Sloan responds, me either. Just 9 minutes later, Sloan breaches her agreement with Nathan by engaging with a reporter at the Daily Mail. So I'm not doing one thing without speaking to you. Okay. Because this was to me like, well, did she do something? This whole casting doesn't like Justin. Nothing to what is SIC? Anyways, okay, so let's read directly. So this is the Melissa happy to I land in less than 2 hours. Thank you. Have a safe flight. Just also, I'm not doing one thing without speaking to you. I'm not answering one email about this situation. I've told everyone to not do one thing, plant seed, even speak to one reporter, even on background. Now I am involved. There will be no shock surprises to you. Sloan's text with Daily Reporter. So it's August 8th at 10:22 or something. And this was, we don't know, I guess. Have to talk about some stuff that came in from reporters. Ree Blake and her new movie drama on plane. Like what? Um, she did respond on that one. Well, it's a lot to text, but it's regarding probs on the set involving her and Justin Baldoni and fallout over that with Blake being isolated, labeled difficult, and a power struggle existing. That is 100% untrue, but I don't want to go on record. Never on record, Daily Mail. Your info is totally off. Um, and then she says, yes, please, as this info is all wrong. She didn't require script runs, nothing to do with this. She produced the film and got a cut. What the F is going on? The whole cast doesn't like Justin, nothing to do with Blake. And now we see she definitely didn't produce. I mean, she produced, but not because she was there to produce. I'm telling you, she's a liar. Who is a liar? Steph and her reps. Um, they are panicking as the whole cast hates him. I promise she is lying. This will not look good for your site. The entire cast will have to go. I mean, yeah, they sound like old people. This Leslie Stone. It sounds like old people talk. I guess that's offensive. Like not young kids that I don't know. I don't know. um okay. Now I'm in a plane and this needs to hold. So before the plane even took off, she communicated. August 8th, that same day, Jones attempting to reinsert herself into Baldoni and Wayfarer's good graces while sidelining Abel contacts a Daily Mail reporter about a story on Baldoni and Lively. We just read this. Oh no, this is another one. Hold on, sorry. Stephanie. Okay, not Leslie. Left word for blank. She's been very nice in the past, so we'll get this fixed. And then forwarded a message from someone to Jen, Stephanie, and Wayfair. Hi, I'm a reporter for Daily Mail, and I'm currently working on a story surrounding the recent rumors that there was a feud between It Ends With Us co stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. People on social media are talking about how they didn't pose together at the premiere or do any press together. I wanted to give you a chance to respond to these rumors. Please let me know if you have any comments. Thank you. Is this the same? I wonder, because we don't see the name. I wonder if it's the same reporter. Stephanie Jones, blank has been nice and fixed things for us in the past. I can give her a call that this is nothing burger. I remember reading this at one point. Yeah, bigger. Um, Teams, please ignore things was the reply. And then she's like, no, but I know someone. Stuff. And we all know I would never say Blake is to blame. I'll contact Sony comms. I'll contact Sony comms. No, as I know Now, as I know this isn't true, do not contact anyone at all right now. Contact. That's Jamie. I'm sorry for being direct, but I need to be direct. I don't want any messaging with anyone right now, so I'm officially needing that to be understood. Stephanie. To clarify again, I have not spoken to Daily Mail. The above isn't true. I also don't believe blank or blank at Sony are saying that above. Quote also has spaces. Is it one? Quote also has spaces as if it was just being drafted. I'm not contacting press, but is concerning if blank or blank are saying I have escalated this and as I haven't even touched this. I'm going to contact them. Stephanie as your client and the one pays for the service, the one that pays for your service. I'm stating to not contact anyone regarding Wayfair or Sony at this time. If you do after this text, it will be a major problem. This needs to be respected now. Melissa on Zoom, Jennifer, I wanted to tell you something funny. I'm calling after. Chimed into that Daily Mail article and then screenshot it and sent to Jamie and Tara and was like, I know her and I will handle and she will kill it. And Jamie told her to stand down because your handling made me giggle. Oh my God, wait, Jen, she just effed us up. This is making sense now. She didn't respond though. She sent that to me and the team, not the writer. No, no. Wait, where? No. Where is it? Tell me it's not this thing. Where's the continuation? No, no, no. I think she did. Which one? Oh my gosh, it is this. Stop. Why? I can't read this. Something my sister is texting me furious. Okay. I'm trying to calm her maybe down. We can just right after blah blah. Anyways, more stuff that I wish we could read. She just ruined our strategy in one swift swoop. So this was when Stephanie. When did this happen? August 8th at 8:50 a.m. So this is like one of those standoffs. Who did Stephanie Jones go first? But also Leslie Sloan didn't know that when she responded. Were like they both independently broke the agreement except Stephanie Jones I don't know if she was in the agreement, if she knew about the agreement between, Leslie and Jennifer, but it seems like I don't know, the timeline is quite like tight. And, I don't know. That's like right in that same timeline, in that same time space. Uh okay, just moving forward with this. She needs help to kill that New York Post story she planted. I'm still in shock. Of course, it's the only thing that could blow up, and it's my sister. Oh gosh, yeah. Crisis mitigation specialist Judd Wallace. They're like, we need more help. August 8th is engaged to assess and monitor all online and offline concerns related to Baldoni and Wayfair. So Judd Wallace came after, or like kind of at the same time, on the same day, but after this blew up already, from both Stephanie Jones and Leslie Sloan. Are those two older? I'm just getting that vibe that they're older, and not quite getting it, how things work today and stay on top of things. And also a little bit more like, egocentric, like not out external team centric. Specifically pertaining to information received about a developing campaign to discredit and damage Baldoni, including his Baha'i faith and Wayfair. Given the importance of the film to Baldoni and Wayfair, its success and critical support it would bring to the domestic violence survivor community, Wallace is asked to focus on analyzing online feedback and monitoring the overall sentiment related to Wayfair, Baldoni, Lively, and others working on the film. August 9th, the next day, early morning, Abel receives an inquiry from the Daily Mail that we cannot read at all, but something. So apparently, Blank is speaking to Leslie to get Blake to cut the stuff. I think we can get through this if we just get that NYP piece killed and Leslie agrees to a truce. LOL. Melissa. Jen, we can get through anything. Just trying to bail, blah, 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 blah. Shut the F up. Uh, good Lord, I'll be done in like 15 minutes. Can you speak then? Yes. And then that just got this. I'll call him. Want me to do anything? This stemmed from what happened yesterday. I'll tell you on the phone how I know now. I know blank really well. Wow. And then I'll call you. LOL. Okay, Jesus. Because Leslie herself called the reporter, the shots, whatever. Uh called the mail after Stephanie, who is denying also called the mail. Wow, okay. Can you chat in 5? Yes. At breakfast, but yes. Call me when you have a second. And then did Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni have a rift over it ends with us? Sleuthing TikTokers think so. Reading. Truth behind why Blake is feuding with Justin Baldoni revealed. Is it horrible to say that I don't think it's that bad? No, because I know what we're watching for. This is like more of that stuff. So all things considering, it looks like trash and gossip. It looks like a plan from Blake's camp trying to steer the narrative. Well, I mean, I can't, or I can tell you, you've done a lot of work here. Nothing but being unsafe, fat comments, etc., etc. Thank effing God. That's all I care about. The other stuff is just nonsense. And honestly, the money the movie is making is great for you guys. Just gonna, oh gosh, there's so much to, and so many of things, and the way that they're screenshot. She put me on hold, waiting for her. Say some prayers for us, Justin. Oof. Um, FYI, Stephanie is likely calling Leslie to clear her name about calling Daily Mail. Unbelievable. Tell her not to answer. This is crazy. Send me that screenshot. That can you? Which one? What one? What one, Jen? I think it's Jen. What one? No, it's not Jen. Whoever's speaking to Jen. Which one? Just the one saying she's calling DM or someone, just so I have. I feel better about NYP. Me too. She said she will not return that call. Blessed be. when you come back to Los Angeles, we're definitely having something. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Getting close, and time is like running out because I also have to come back at 8. August 9th, Heath calls Jones to clarify that due to the sensitivity of the situation, he feels more comfortable with Abel leading communication rather than Jones. Heath reiterates that Jones should refrain from taking any action on behalf of Baldoni. At the time, Heath was in Chicago with Baldoni. With first-hand knowledge and most up-to-date information, was the best person to handle communications. Jones does not take this well and launched into a tirade, insisting that she will speak to whomever she pleases and that Wayfair cannot stop her from clearing her name. The day prior, Heath that had texted not communicate with anyone on behalf of Wayfair and Baldoni. It continues that day. Nathan, consistent with the pair's agreement, sends a text to Sloan she had received from Daily Mail reporter. Unbeknownst to Nathan, this was the same reporter with whom Sloan had been communicating the day prior. Nathan confirms that she played no part in the story and tells Sloan, I'm going to have to speak with him, but I'm just going to tell him nothing. Happy to chat to you beforehand if you prefer. Sloan deliberately omits the fact that she has spoken with the reporter. August 5th, during a red carpet interview, New York premiere, Lively stated, the iconic rooftop scene. My husband actually wrote it. Nobody knows that, but you now is also how that continues. This revelation regarding Reynolds' purported contribution to the script raised eyebrows at Sony, who told Wayfair, we've read through this in, I think the original complaint, referenced in complaint. On the day of the domestic release of the film, Heath shares observations with Sony marketing, urging them to take the topic of DV more seriously as part of the film's rollout. Excuse me, this was a concern that Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfair had long expressed to the team. Observations, hail. So we all see the noise and chatter regarding Justin and Blake and cast. This is all crazy, but I'd like for us to take a look at that event in the midst of feuding. How many people are pointing out that DV is being glossed over and that Justin is essentially the only one appreciating the subject matter, whilst others maybe not giving it the proper respect it deserves. As you know, this has always been a concern of ours, and I think we might agree that there is enough response to at least consider giving it a little bit more thought. The thing to this, I don't know if it was someone online, a YouTuber, a commenter, a press person, I don't remember. Someone in the past few days I saw or heard or read saying, well, maybe it would have been actually triggering to DV survivors and victims if there was more emphasis and having it be more lighthearted, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think anyone was saying to not have it lighthearted and to, not have it about, you know, um, empowering, strengthening. And I think the idea was, as many celebrities do, have like a hotline number, highlighted on your feed. Talk about this in the interviews. It wasn't like say these specific triggered instances or, what happened in the movie. It was really just support this cause. That's, I think, the respect that it deserved. That's what people are talking about. Um, and not have it like grab your friends and wear your florals is like a great tagline. I mean, forever now. It's and that might be it's just like the idea. I think that standalone was not the downfall. If everything around that was highlighting, resources and so forth, and that would not be the downfall of this movie. But now it's become the summary in the nutshell of everything else that followed that and around how this was approached by, the Blake Lively side of things. And Ryan Reynolds, I guess. I don't know. Sony. August 10th, Tag and Able continue to monitor online chatter about the film. I'll skip through this, as most of this can't even be read. A lot of this we already have read in the complaint. This is a look at this. So much excluded. Which, I think I'm so curious. I'm very curious, gosh, as far as this New York Times lawsuit and stuff, it's a big one for media as a whole. The decision can affect media and how much of a standard is expected from media going forward. Is specifically from like the standard media, like New York Times, like newspapers, and you know that. I think New York Times and so forth are trying to um, go against independent people on YouTube and wherever, and they're slacking on their due diligence because they're trying to keep up. Because a YouTuber will release like, "Oh my gosh, did you see this? This happens," and they can't keep up. But at the end of the day, I think we all still would like to be able to rely, even if it's a few days later, like rely on newspapers to tell us what really happened. Give us the context, give us the uh, backstory, give us what your research has shown. Don't be bought. But it's a lot to ask. August 11th, Baldoni felt it was important to stay on message, as he had during the film's junket press tour from August 4th to the 9th. Despite a purported feud or the focus on the film's box office success, Baldoni sought to redirect attention to DV survivors. He sends a text to the social media team urging them to focus their efforts on this topic. I'm 99% sure this I read in the original complaint of his. August 11th, Heath follows up on his email to Sony from August 9th, expressing his gratitude to the team's efforts in making the film a box office. I guess it was kind of successful before this whole feud, but I think, like I said, a good chunk was because of this. He requests, however, that they schedule a call to discuss the film's messaging. Um, August 12th, organic articles emerged directly related to how Lively was promoting the film. And see Natasha Jokic. Here's what's going on with the ends. With the it ends with us drama. BuzzFeed article, etc., etc. Actress fans blast the actress over tone deaf and shallow interview with co-stars was the paraphrasing of that. Um, and then August 12th, W conversation between WME. Oh, this is the one. All right. And Reynolds. WME shares that Reynolds and Lively are furious with Wayfair and Baldoni for positioning them as promoting the film as a Barbie film, while elevating Baldoni to speak on the movie, the more serious messaging. Reynolds and Lively purportedly, I don't like that word, believe Nathan is responsible for this positioning, demand that Wayfair release a statement of contrition, taking accountability. And this statement is just priceless. For the negative press toward Lively and Reynolds, they warned WME that absent come off, and I have such a thought to this statement. In turn, Reynolds tells WME that he would personally draft a statement for Wayfair to release immediately. Heath and Abel are astounded blame Baldoni and Wayfair for their self-inflicted PR nightmare. Heath had consistently communicated that neither Wayfair, Nathan, nor anyone on their team was manipulating the internet, using bots, or seeding stories about Lively's or Reynolds' character. All press stories were organic and directly resulted from Lively's own tone deaf marketing approach. And the thing with this is like, now we have all of these receipts of how they took over the whole movie, completely taken Baldoni and Wayfair out of the conversation, threatened, extorted, whatever word, is alleged happening, I guess, they used to like gain complete control to do whatever they want, how they wanted, their own content, promotional content, etc. And now they're like, oh, but it's not us, it's you. You made us do this. You gave us this narrative that we created because we completely outed you out of this whole movie. August 12th, that evening, two WME executives, Heath and Abel, participate in a call to review the statement drafted by Lively and Reynolds on behalf of Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfair. Upon review, WME concurs that with Wayfair that the statement was vague, implies culpability without substance, and fails to address the issue at hand. Excuse me. Furthermore, if the goal was to mitigate negative online attention directed at Lively, the statement would have the opposite effect. In response, Wayfair, Baldoni, and Heath reject the demand, firmly refusing to issue any statement falsely assuming responsibility for non existent issues. And this is, I'm going to say, my opinion before, or my thought before reading this, because I did hear this statement before. A lot of this, to me, sounds like what they could have said themselves, and then all of this would be over and they would be seen as like, oh wow, they're taking responsibility, they're like, what, how big of them, and whatever. August 12th, 2024, statement prepared by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds on behalf of Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfair. It Ends With Us was a troubled production which we take full accountability for. We are very sorry for everyone we caused upset to privately and publicly. Sorry. Blake Lively, Colleen Hoover, the entire cast and crew led with professionalism every step of the way. Any negativity aimed at them is ours to own. We mutually agreed that the cast would be promoting the film separately and understood why. We have always said we are not perfect. No one has said anything as to why at this point, but okay. We have always said we are not perfect, and even if unintentionally made mistakes, we will always own them. Literally, from his first text message, or, the first text message we see in his complaint to Blake Lively, literally his words, and the cruelty of using someone's words against them like this. Whew. We hold ourselves accountable. It's not anyone's job but ours, and that's part of being man enough. That's the name of his book. That's the name of his podcast, his brand, basically. And also, the idea of man enough is not even understood by the person who's writing this. The idea of man enough is basically stemming from not feeling enough, not feeling like man enough. And this is taken in such a different direction because this person who wrote it isn't a man, or is not a man who's understood how insufficient they feel to understand how this doesn't make sense when you actually understand the concept of man enough. We'll practice what we preach. We are learning and growing from the experience, and we thank everyone for their patience as we find a better way to proceed. We are very proud of the film and the welcome arms that it's been received. That it's been receiving. Part of our work is to have uncomfortable conversations for public growth. The film is doing that on screen, and we are doing that off screen. No one's having conversations off screen. There's no growth off screen. They've been completely iced out. There's no conversation. There's no growth. There's not been any growth of conversation, you could argue, ever, but especially since like the first few months before production started, or like around that. Thank you to the cast and crew and public for the opportunity to be imperfect and to be given the space to learn and grow with humanity and dedication. Someone who, I think it was Andy at Popcorn Planet that I was watching reading this, and he said with humility and dedication, which also would have been probably a word that they could have used. But yeah, with humanity and dedication. Everything about how Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively have handled this, I feel at this point, from what we know, in my opinion, is inhumane. And that's like what hurts. more than, again, the individual people that this is affecting. But that middle part, we hold ourselves sorry, we have always said that we are not perfect, and even if unintentionally make mistakes, we'll always own them. We hold ourselves accountable. It's not anyone's job but ours, and that's part of being man enough. I would not have put my name on that either. Maybe if they would have like kind of just gave the top part or something, I mean even that would not fly, but there could be a better way to make it more vague and just kind of whatever. And like I said, that statement phrased in a good way, like we've always said we're not perfect, and even if unintentionally make mistakes, we'll always own them. If Blake and or well, Ryan wasn't part of this, but if Blake would have said that publicly in her words, saying that, and she would have shifted to speaking about DV resources and so forth, she would have won so many people over and kept so many people on her side. And public perception is more so what I mean, on her side. Oh gosh. And what a respectful thing to have said on her behalf, or for her to have said, sorry. Um, what a way to show respect to these fans, survivors, victims, etc. August 12th, Abel shares with Nathan that Blake and Ryan want Justin to put out a statement. Both are shocked by the request and state that they have never encountered anything similar. And this is where, like, you need a lawyer. Blake and Ryan want Justin to put out a statement. This is unbelievable. Melissa, call if you can. Career killer for them, and Wayfair, no, have to fight it. At what point do you fight? It's now. Lawyer up now. This is so crazy. Honestly, I've never had anything like it. Can he please hire a lawyer? He needs to. He has one, but he needs a litigator. Get BF. He's waiting, and he will also take on WME. Is that best friend or boyfriend? Um, and is this August 12th? Because I know it was like kind of around that time, right? That we hear he hires Brian Friedman. August 13th, the Daily Mail publishes an article titled Blake Lively Goes into Damage Control by Finally Addressing the Domestic Violence. And I, at one point, need to find that video where she addresses this DV thing, because she did it in such a awkward kind of not even insufficient, but almost kind of wrong way. I don't know. And she says 1 in 4 women aged 18 and older in the US alone have been the victims of severe physical this by an intimate partner in their lifetime. Uh, okay, intimate partner violence affects all genders, including more than 12 million people every year in the United States. Everyone deserves relationships free of DV, the National Domestic Violence. I'm just all over the place. I'm sorry. Hotline provides confidential support 24/7, 365. To access the hotline or to learn more, click the link below. For immediate help, text start to this number. Thank you to everyone who came out to show that people want to see films about women and the multitudes we hold. That is not what this movie was, but okay. Um I mean, fair, that was part of the movie. It ends with us as a story. The reason I say that's not what it was about, because it's like it's shifting the narrative of the movie to be about her, like she did with the other movie, where like her character regains sight. Now looking back, especially, it's like always like shifting it, being about her and her character and like women, and just using um morality, but not being moral. It ends with us is a story. That's my perception, my opinion. It ends with us is a story of the female experience, all the highest highs and the lowest lows, and we are so proud of it. It didn't take us that high, and we saw kind of how she didn't want to be intimate, like not like physical, but like just have that highest high of like someone, being very there, falling in love, all that. And it didn't have the lowest lows. We have been in celebration, which may be good, for something that was supposed to be so mass. We have been in celebration of this film and of getting a message so important out there to the masses. Thank you all for embracing It Ends With Us movie with the same love, pain, and joy we had sharing it with you all. That's a weird way, knowing what we know now to say it. Blake Lively goes into damage control by finally adjusting the DV. Okay. The New York Post on August 13th contacts Nathan for a comment regarding competing cuts on set feuds. The information provided is inaccurate. Lively did not have final edit approval. Well, she did in the end, nor was she given Sony's cut. In reality, Sony did not have a studio cut. Rather, Wayfair and Sony shared a studio cut. Should the director's cut not perform well in audience screenings, the studio collectively held the right to recut the film. Okay. However, this never occurred as Lively used her promotional efforts to secure the final cut. Yeah. Anyways, so it was like a moot point. All the information Leslie provided to the New York Post was false and misleading. It's interesting because if Sony could have done that over the director, why couldn't have they done that over Blake? Or was that them trying to say, hey, add these pieces or add these notes, or try to, like, this is not good enough, come back to us with another cut? Is that kind of what they were doing? August 13th, the Hollywood Reporter publishes a story naming Nathan as Baldoni's crisis PR representative, drawing a comparison between Baldoni and Nathan's previous client, Johnny Depp. This comparison proves damaging for Baldoni, as Nathan was hired specifically to ensure that the truth would be communicated free from interference by Lively's team. Ship's long gone. August 8th, Sloan had a text conversation with a Daily Mail reporter who spoke to Jones. Jones, acting independently, had reached out to the Daily Mail, seemingly on her own initiative and in direct disregard for Heath's previous request to say nothing. And I think we will adjourn over there. Hi, P. Oh, just when you came on. I've been on for 3 hours. Um, I am coming back at 8. Um, I might just take that opportunity to finish at 8 o'clock, or just continue and just do the last 30 pages, literally, well, 29 pages, um, either tonight at 8 or tomorrow. Um, Let me read this last piece and then I will continue with the rest. But yeah, I'm glad that we got to that statement, because I couldn't wait to give my thoughts out on that statement that they created for him. Okay, so oh, thank you. Listening on the replay. As discussed here and above, in early August 2024, Jones inserted herself into the situation, attempting to sideline Nathan and Abel. The issue, however, was that Jones had deliberately distanced herself from Wayfair leadership's communication strategy and internal decision making, citing her focus on higher profile clients. I remember, I think I'll just skip through to, because they did include this lawyer. Um, and with this, I'll end soon. But I remember like reading that in the initial complaint too, I think, right? But Stephanie to Jamie, and CCing some other people, including her lawyer. This was August 14th. Jamie, I have been standing down and have not contacted any press at all regarding any of these Justin issues since they arose on Thursday of last week while I was on family vacation in Europe. Oh, I remember reading this too in the was it in the New York Times one? I forget. I wanted to take a moment to reiterate my commitment to Justin and our work together. Over the past 8 years, I have successfully managed every crisis for Justin without any negative press coming to light. As a key member of both Justin's and Wayfair's accounts since we signed him, I believe if one of our team members, including me as a key man on Justin's account, can rectify a story, it's essential we leverage that for Justin and Wayfair. While my background isn't solely in crisis management, I have extensive experience representing our billionaire clients, many of the biggest stars and athletes in the world, as well as many of our Fortune 550 founder clients. This experience has equipped me with the skills necessary to navigate complex situations effectively, often more diligently than the crisis PR firms we have worked with in the past. My recommended strategies would be twofold. Flood the zone with positives. We need to ensure that we promote positive narratives that media outlets cannot ignore. Currently, most stories are heavily biased towards Blake's perspective, leaving Justin unrepresented. Which is kind of it's a good point because initially they have said like the same thing, and where has that positive flood been? They I will say they weren't doing the best job trying to counter and balance things out. But maybe because they couldn't, because um he is less known and the public was probably easier swayed like, oh, he's the bad guy because of that too. So but it makes me think of that. It's crucial that we fight for every inch of every story, which requires far more effort than typical crisis PR want to put forth in our experience working with specialized crisis teams. And then to prepare alternate stories, we should mobilize a robust network of supporters and third party advocates ready to counter these narratives on deep background, as well as some on the record, making it clear that the claims being made are untrue and unfounded. Both of these two things were only 2 points of what Melissa Nathan's or Judd Wallace's or whoever, I forget who sent out that bullet point list of, hey, here's our suggested approach. These both points were in there and quite a few others. And I didn't really see so far, and I didn't watch this. I don't really watch, you know, PR media kind of thing, but I didn't really see that much. So maybe that's why she's saying it because she wasn't really seeing it either. As you know, I've been on vacation in Europe with my entire family. I've attached my Verizon call log from last week in response to your claim that someone at Sony suggested I called the Daily Mail and escalated things. I don't think they said necessarily called, that you contacted them. I can confirm that I did not make or receive any calls from Daily Mail. The number I thought I returned call from was regarding our client blank blank from Daily Mail's cell number is noted in her email blank, and you can cross-reference this against my call log for verification that she did not call me, nor did I call her. So was she a return call? But you didn't call her, and she didn't call you. So why was it a returned call? I mean, fair, could have been regarding someone else. It's not like, these were the only clients, right? Studios often look for leaks, which is why, per Jen Abel's text to all of us, the Sony president first texted Jen and Abel, and in her words, accused her of leaking information to the Daily Mail. He then texted me shortly thereafter. I ask that you please refrain from using me as a scapegoat for leaks that are clearly originating from elsewhere. I am ready, willing, and able to fulfill my duties to support Justin per our contract, which concludes May 2025. I can add tremendous value to our efforts, and I hope you will reconsider my involvement. Thank you, Stephanie Jones. I mean, potato at this point, but we saw some sort of evidence that she did communicate with a Daily Mail person. We didn't see I didn't see anything that was like convincing one way or another at this point from that. Don't hate me for saying that. Maybe I just missed it because it's been, I'm in this a while. August 14th, a journalist from TMZ contacts Nathan and Abel requesting comments regarding 3 HR complaints filed against Justin Baldoni on set with It Ends With Us. That same day, Nathan receives inquiries from reporters about multiple HR complaints from set. This was not true. And with that, kind of a cliff note, but what is not a cliff note at this point, in all of this, I will pause and come back at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, US, Eastern Time. And like I said, we only have 20 pages, so maybe I'll go through the last 20 pages. I might, because I don't have too much. I have like such a small bullet point list of what I would like to say, as far as what I'm calling now tidbits. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for replaying. If you're replaying, I'm sorry I look kind of a mess. Also, you can't really see, but this is Be a Nice Human shirt. I don't really know where it's from. I mean, I know that I got it where I got it from, but I don't know if it's like still out there. I don't know that it's like a big brand or whatever, but um I didn't even plan it. I was just looking like for a change as far as color. Anyways, have a wonderful night or evening, afternoon, wherever you are, morning, and I'll see you guys hopefully at 8 in about 2 hours or so. And if not, hopefully I'll see you in comments on replays or whatever or tomorrow. But yeah, thank you for joining me, and you're welcome, P, anytime. Anytime I can help, especially with this. It's just the more I read this, the more the passion comes out. Like, this needs to be broadcasted by as many voices as possible. So, all right, it is wild. Have a wonderful night, day, whatever. I don't know. What am I saying? I'm going to go eat. See you later. Talk to you later. Yeah. Peace, love, and compassion, empathy, critical thinking. All right. Bye.